Hello, welcome back to whatever this is again. Nice to have you back, Alex. Last time we did
Yes,
this
it
was
is an
Stranger
honor.
Things. Um,
Yes.
yeah, we
Pretty
talked for way too
controversial,
long.
I'd say. Yeah, just about that. Well, we went through like every season though, so
That's true. And now, Spider-Man's coming out in a week as of when we're recording this.
yes.
So I wanted to go back and look through all three of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies
hmm
just to see whether just to see a few things. One, I've seen a lot of people bully Jon Watts for his direction on the trilogy.
Right.
That like, oh, Destin's really good. Jon Watts sucks as in retrospect.
Yeah, it is funny. It's quite a switch up.
Yeah, and second of
Like
all,
I
you first?
like John Watts always had critical acclaim. All three movies. And
Right.
fans also, it was just sort of universally known that everybody likes it.
Mm.
But there was also like this small group of people that was always pretty vocal about like Iron Boy Jr. and Tom Holland Spider-Man doesn't do anything. He's too kid-like. It's directed like a Disney movie or like, I've heard all those things for years and years now. But it is funny. It seems so much more extreme now in retrospect because they're like, what was John Watts thinking? Like, Destin Daniel Cretton is going great, whatever. So it is
Right.
fun.
I think that's the goal. I wanted to see whether I wanted to look back at the Tom Holland trilogy and see, is Jon Watts a bad director, or was he just like he was just directing Marvel movies? What are your thoughts before we start on like the trilogy of like Spider-Man and Tom Holland as a whole? Like your broad strokes.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because I am now probably the biggest Spider-Man fan anybody will ever meet. But I have vivid memories of seeing like I saw Spider-Man 3, Tobey's Spider-Man 3 in theaters when I was 7, and then I saw both the Andrews movies in theaters. And then I just didn't care about movies for a long time. And I remember I didn't care about the MCU until maybe 2018, 2019, like
Okay.
post Infinity War. And so I hadn't ever even seen Homecoming in theaters. I thought it was strange when I would see trailers for it. I'm like, oh, Spider Man's like a kid now. Like, I just thought he was so. I wasn't used to that. Like, even just
Mm.
Tom Holland's voice. Um, and so it's funny looking back at that because now I've seen Homecoming and really all three of the movies. I don't know how many times at this point.
Right.
It was only after the fact though. Like I think the first time I'd watched Homecoming was uh, I was prepping for uh, everybody was talking about Infinity War, and I had maybe seen the first Avengers and the first Iron Man or whatever, and so I was like, oh, I guess I should watch some of these things. I remember really liking the movie, but not thinking much of it in terms of like, oh, this is my favorite Spider-Man movie. And then over the years, I feel like in the last couple years, I feel very solid about what I think of all three movies, and that hasn't wavered really at all. Maybe it's a hot take,
Okay.
but I think Homecoming is probably a top three live action Spider-Man movie for me. Um,
Fascinating. Okay.
and so yeah, I'll go into more detail on that. But yeah, I like John Watts. I like what he did with his trilogy. I think it really makes sense once you get to No Way Home what they were trying to do. As much as people will argue like, oh, they just didn't know what they were doing and they just whatever they retconned it or whatever they may say. I do feel like all of it was very intentional and spending more time in the high school years
Hmm.
because both Toby and Andrew's movies they're like Toby's graduated by what, like Act Two of Spider-Man
Right.
One. Like and then like Andrew is obviously done with high school and Amazing Spider-Man Two. And I think it's nice to see more of the high school stuff. But yeah, that's those are my overall thoughts. And then No Way Home is my most rewatched movie of all time. And so it's
How
sort of
many?
my whole
Wait. How many
personality for five
rewatches and
years.
how many of them you've logged on Letterboxd?
So actual rewatches is probably close to like 45.
Okay.
The logged is probably like 6 or 7.
In my opinion, I think the Tom Holland trilogy is the only Spider-Man trilogy I've seen in theaters. Because back then we didn't really go to like theaters until like we only went to go watch movies for Marvel, right, in theaters.
Oh, okay.
Civil War came out, I lost my mind at Spider-Man there. Like he's like, oh, it's so cool. It's a new actor. The suit looks cool, and the eyes move. Whoa, that's crazy.
See, I'm so sad I missed that. I
Yeah,
didn't have any of that.
it didn't need much to impress me as a kid. And then all three Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland I've seen in theaters. So that is a like that's gonna be a rite of passage even with like Brand New Day, right? And then No Way Home, I remember the big build up and the hype around it. Okay, I'll talk about that when we get to it. But yeah, no, I have the same feeling with you with No Way Home that like it is a massively fun experience theatrically. As a film, we'll talk about it later. But yes, Homecoming, I do agree. It's top. It's like up there. It's really up there when it comes to the like live action. Anyway, good segue to let's talk about Homecoming.
Yes, yeah. This is probably my second most rewatched Spider-Man movie, if I had to guess. And I think the reason why I would just say I love it overall, and I think this is a point that many people talk about, is just that it's not really a Spider-Man movie. It's just a coming of age movie.
Right.
And I think as soon as I realized that it was that, I just loved it so much more because some of my favorite movies ever are like a Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like when I was younger, that was one of the first movies I loved. Very like John Hughes sort of thing. They even have the reference, obviously, in Homecoming. I think this is easily the only Spider-Man movie that really feels like, and I guess you could say Far From Home to an extent too, that is a high school. What is it like just a kid growing up? He likes a girl that he wants to be with, but he's got other responsibility. Try not to use that word too much. And I think that's why the movie works. Like, I don't think a big complaint people have for Homecoming is like, oh, there's not enough action, or he's saved by Iron Man, or whatever else. Like, I don't think it needs any of that. Like, the best scene in the movie, by far, that almost anybody will agree with, well, I think there's two in contention, but one of the best is him in the car with Michael Keaton's
Correct.
Vulture.
Yeah.
Like, there's no action, there's no like whatever, and their final fight is pretty lame, all things considered. It's not even a fight. Like he's just trying to stop Vulture from dying.
Yeah, it feels like retrospect. Like it feels like the movie just going, oh, I guess we need to have an action set piece now.
Yeah, like it doesn't even seem like Jon Watts would even want that in the movie if he had it his way. Which is why I think like the other best scene in the movie that everybody points out is Tom Holland holding the rubble over and realizing that he doesn't need the suit and all that sort of stuff. Like there's so many little things, like even when he does decide that he wants to go fight the Vulture at Homecoming and you see him running down the hallway with his suit and he lifts up the lockers and he grabs his homemade thing. Like and then I think the whole first half, to be honest, especially with Ned, I'm a Harry hater. I don't like Harry at all in any Spider-Man media. I just don't think he's never a good friend, and he's just a way to make
the Dane DeHaan
Harry
portrayal really hurt you on the Harry. I think James was it James Franco? Yeah, it was James Franco's Harry.
He's pretty bad too.
He's fun. What are you talking about?
I think in terms of like, is he a good friend to Peter? Absolutely not.
I mean, yeah, he makes out with MJ behind his back.
Well, not even just that. Like in Spider-Man 1, like they have maybe like a couple scenes together where you're like supposed to get the vibe that they're friends, but like it more so feels like James Franco's character is like the cool guy and he just like happens to talk with people. I don't know. Like I've never got the, in Spider-Man 3 when Harry dies, it's just like, whatever. Whereas like I feel way more emotionally connected to Ned and Peter in this trilogy because they feel like real friends that just want to help each other and they feel like real high school kids.
Right.
And I don't think any other movie got that. I don't think any other Spider-Man iteration has gotten that right.
Actually, since we're talking about Harry, you've seen Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, right? Marvel Animations.
Yeah.
What do you think about Zena Robinson's portrayal? Because there is a Harry there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's probably my favorite Harry. Maybe I don't know. I like Spectacular Spider-Man too, but
Ooh.
maybe I'm just not well versed enough in other. I'm sure there's other things that I'm
Mm.
missing. I think like Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Is that what the show is called?
Yeah.
Why does that not? Okay, just for some reason, it was called. It was originally called like Spider-Man Freshman Year or something. So I sometimes
Right.
get it confused. Um, but I love that whole show as like a separate aside. I think it's interesting as like a alternative to what could have happened in the MCU. And Norman is his mentor, and that stuff is really interesting to me. So I think that's why I like that dynamic.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I won't stay on the hair thing. But all I'm trying to say is that Ned is the GOAT. That is what I really mean when I
Yes.
say all that.
His actor has
Even though he's
gotten
essentially ganky. And I think I sometimes forget too that like Homecoming is obviously all about him and Liz, and MJ really doesn't have,
Yeah.
Zendaya has like maybe 3 lines in the movie. That's a whole other thing we'll get to in Far From Home because I have some issues there. Yeah, no, I think this is a great. I think it's just a great movie. I don't think you even have to like any kind of superhero thing to like this. I don't even think you have to like the MCU. It'll be fun, obviously, for you to see Captain America show up and all this sort of stuff,
Right.
um, and Iron Man and all that. But yeah, there's something about like him just being on the subway, texting Happy, or going to the sandwich shop or whatever else. Like, people have always said they wanted like we want a grounded Spider-Man. We don't want this multiverse stuff. I'm like, you guys had that like 9 years ago, and yet you're still acting like it. I don't know. I won't get on my. I love the movie. I honestly don't think I have. I have very little that I would critique about it, personally.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. Um I okay. No, to be honest, I really like Homecoming as well. Rewatching it like years later, it made me realize that John did understand what it is, like what a Spider-Man. Like scenes are actually like it's they didn't really go for the big action set pieces. Most of the action scenes are just like very grounded in what they can, and like the characterization of Peter as well. Like the writers and Holland's performance, it feels like like you're right. It feels like a coming of age movie, which is why I think that like I think actually that was one of the inspirations for like Holland's performance as a whole, right? Because I remember one of
Mhm.
like my friend mentioned that Holland's delivery, he feels like Marty McFly.
Yeah, greatest movie ever. Back to the Future.
Um,
That is actually my
right,
favorite movie ever.
and again on the rewatch, it's true. He has that like there's so many things that he does, and all the small mistakes that he makes is interesting because you get to see him grow up as a character,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah, and
And
I think it's a little unfair. Sorry to cut you off, but I think it's
no
a
worries.
little unfair for people to say that John Watts doesn't have any style and didn't know what he was doing or all this sort of stuff, because I think he very clearly went in with the intention of I want to make this high school coming of age movie, and I think visually, even those movies, a Ferris Bueller or anything like that, those aren't trying to impress you. It's all
Right.
story based and character based and all that sort of stuff. Um, and so I think with what they set out to do, they did exactly, I think, as good of a job as they could have with what they were aiming for. Whether or not someone agrees with that being how Spider-Man should be portrayed is
Mhm.
another story.
I mean, wasn't didn't Tom Holland's Spider-Man get like the biggest seal of approval from Stan Lee back in the day? That like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, that's true.
he is the version of Spider-Man that I've always wanted to see on screen.
I think so much of that has to do with the age thing. There's not
Probably.
a single part of me when I watch Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield on their first movies that I'm like, oh, that's a high school kid. Or I see James Franco, or I see MJ or Emma Stone or anything like that. Yeah, they like are putting them in the high school environment or whatever else, but no part of me feels that way at all. Like maybe a little bit with Andrew. Oh, no, I can't even say that. I can't say that. No, it doesn't have that. I know what I looked like when I was 14, 15 high school, and I looked like Tom Holland when he's, whatever.
Right,
Um,
right.
and I do think that, I know it's not a part of this, but Civil War really did set him up perfectly. I think he was written perfectly in that movie, and set him up for success in Homecoming. I do think that, like, I actually have a big problem with how in Infinity War and Endgame I felt like the writing, like his character regressed to like
Right.
just being even more kid-like. I'm like, didn't we have like a whole arc or whatever? Um, like there's certain lines in Infinity War. I know I'm on a tangent, but like my least favorite line in that movie, uh, I like Tom Holland's line of, "You can't be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if there's no neighborhood." That is a
Right.
good line. And then he says, "That didn't make sense," but you know what I mean. It did make sense, and it's like they constantly are trying to like um, and he says in Infinity War, "You ever seen that really old movie Aliens?" It's like, okay, you already did that in Civil War. Whereas Homecoming, I think, gets it exactly right. He feels
Right.
like how old is he supposed to be? 15? Yeah,
Hmm.
like I think he feels 100% like a 15-year-old.
Yeah. And also, I think like the point that you mentioned with the whole like, that doesn't make sense. Hey guys, reference, reference. It's classic Marvel writing at this point. Like there are some shows you can point to which do it egregiously, terribly. Ironheart, She-Hulk, etc. etc.
I didn't watch Ironheart.
Don't bother.
Okay, okay. And I also didn't watch She-Hulk except for Daredevil.
Good. uh, okay. And then it happens to have like a really solid villain as well. Like something
Hmm.
that I can't really say about the sequels, sort of. But I think Michael Keaton's Vulture is the most simple to understand villain in the trilogy,
Hmm.
right?
And I think he has. I think the personal stakes with him and Tom Holland, with him and Peter, make it so much more interesting. I feel less that way about Mysterio because he
Right.
just has like a vendetta against Tony. And I know that still Michael Keaton's character is like he obviously still is against the Avengers and doesn't like Tony Stark and like he's stealing the plane and all that sort of stuff. But because they do the flip that he's Liz's dad, that makes it like infinitely more interesting.
Right.
Um, I also think Michael Keaton is the best person that they could have ever done that. I don't know if you saw recently a clip that came out that they asked Lin-Manuel Miranda to be Vulture.
Oh, right.
That
Yeah, I
was their
saw
first
that.
choice.
Right.
That's crazy. That would not work. I cannot imagine that.
Yeah.
And I do think Vulture is because I'm just not counting No Way Home's villains. Those aren't Tom Holland's villains. So like I do think Vulture is if I'm going to attribute one villain to Tom Holland's trilogy, Vulture is the best one because I just
Yeah.
don't think
That's true. That's true.
anything else
And
counts.
also the scenes that like the sequences and the way that he's directed and like his overall screen presence, it kind of makes sense when you look at Jon Watts' career post like the Holland trilogy, because the first movie he went to do after No Way Home was Final Destination 6, a horror movie.
Oh really?
Yeah, his roots, like you can kind of tell the horror roots with this guy. Like Vulture is shot like
Yeah,
a slasher villain.
yeah, yeah. I
Like
think
this,
it's maybe a little less apparent than like a Sam Raimi and like a
yeah,
Doc Ock thing. Like that's so Evil Dead and that sort of thing.
right.
Um, but I don't know if I've ever thought about that.
Like the
Like,
small things that he does, like Peter webs the wings, he uses them like scissors and like cuts them with like the tips of it. It feels very Scream-ish, like 90s slasher.
mm,
And I think that's one of the coolest things that like rewatching this kind of like proves to me that this guy can direct like spooky villains if Marvel let him.
right, right. I guess one main question I'd have for you is what do you not like about Homecoming?
Hmm. I think I'm not a big fan of how like Vulture's entire conflict as a whole isn't really explained or established that well. Because there's this one guy who's like, "Hey, can we do the vacuum seal? No. Repeat that for 2 scenes." I kind of wanted a little bit more as to like, why don't you want to do that? What do you mean with this thing? Like, it feels like have you seen the Lego?
Hmm.
It feels like the spaceship
Yeah,
bit.
I haven't seen the Lego movie more than once, so refresh me on that. Like,
No, it's
what?
like it's this recurring joke in the movie where like this one spaceman character, every single problem that comes out, he's like, "Hey, can we build a spaceship?" Um,
Oh yeah,
and like
okay,
around
okay, okay.
around the third act, when like the other characters are like, "Yo, we need a spaceship," he goes berserk.
I forget who voices that. That would help remind me. But anyways, yeah. Yeah, I guess like I mean he has like this loose idea of like, oh, I'm doing this to support my family or whatever. Like
Right.
that's why he, picks up these weapons or does that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
but you go and
And
visit
he's
his house.
obviously
He lives in a
shut.
condo.
Yeah. And like at the beginning, he's down by the DODC.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I just think of every other Spider-Man villain though, and I'm like, they also don't have very like as much as people would maybe disagree with me on it. Like Green Goblin, after he kills the in the first Spider-Man movie, after he kills the like people he was working with, which happens like 10 seconds after he becomes Green
Right.
Goblin, he's just being evil for the sake. Like there's no reason. He's just evil. It's like okay, and then
Right.
Doc Ock even is just like, oh well, the chip makes him want to do his little nuclear reactor thing. It's like there's not much to it. So I think by comparison, I guess, don't get me started on Spider-Man 3. I mean, just yeah.
Right.
And then
I still like how
yeah,
Venom's entire motivation is, dude, I just really want to kill this one reporter.
yeah. Yeah, that is crazy. To pray in a church. Like, like
I want
wow.
to kill this
Oh, no.
reporter, guys.
I think personally, my only issue with the movie, and this is something that feels like kind of nitpicky, and I wish I didn't feel this way. I do think the CGI of Tom Holland's suit is pretty distracting. It's
Right.
so perfectly smooth and fakey, and there's like very few scenes where you feel like Tom Holland is in the suit. I think the times I can think, there's some where he's like, I think he's like eating a churro once, and
Uh-huh.
like that looks good there. When he's in the little like warehouse and just with Karen, the
The
whatever,
suit lady,
like
right.
that looks good. But like when I think of like the boat scene and all that sort of stuff, I do find, and like they have this short montage where he's swinging. I do find some of the animation and that sort of stuff a definite regression.
Mm.
Um, from the Amazing Spider-Man VFX, especially, and from even Tobey's Spider-Man stuff. I think some of that looks better than
Right.
this. But it's never been so bad to the point to me where it's like, oh, it's completely taken me out of the movie. It's just something that, again, is like a
Hmm.
nitpicky thing. And I think he honestly looks best when he's in his. I love his homemade suit,
Yeah.
and I love that he ends with that. I think he has the best homemade suit out of any of the three.
Yeah.
I don't
It
think
looks
it's
very
much of a
comfy.
contest. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else that I don't like about it though. Um, I think it's paced really well. Yeah, I think it's an easy like it is up. It's high tier MCU for me.
Right.
Like
Right.
probably top five.
Yeah. Here's my nitpick. Tony, actually, no, Tony and the whole and what he does to Spider-Man, i.e., like the suit is super powerful. It just does everything for him. It's it kind of takes away from the from like how scrappy Spider-Man is in like earlier media.
To be fair though, like Tony didn't. He does have like a safety protocol on it. It's
Right.
not until Tom Holland like hacks it that he has those certain features. So I don't think of it as like Tony necessarily equipping him with like endless gadgets or whatever else. Because a lot of it is just off of Peter disabling
Right.
the stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think that point still stands. Where like I do think that there's maybe one scene like when he is with Karen and like trying to figure out the lock and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
Where he's like trying to where it like kind of shows his smarts. But there is a definite like yeah, I feel weird sometimes in like those action scenes with like Donald Glover and he's
Uh,
like they're like activating this web and but you know Karen saying all this sort of stuff. It's just like get all this out of here. Like
right.
I don't know how necessary any of that is. I think it works because he ends up being stripped of that suit and then realizes he just has to do it in his homemade one anyways.
Right.
Um, so it works as like an arc. But yeah, I would say that I could agree with that.
Yeah, true. Because the comparison that I can very easily make is like the Batman Arkham trilogy. If you've ever played those games. Um.
No, I need to.
Okay. Yeah. No, you should. In the earlier games, there's a lot of emphasis on you as a player need to understand like the toolkit and what you need to do, etc. Right? But in I think Arkham Knight, which introduced the Batmobile, a lot of the combat and a lot of the puzzle solving is just figure out a way to make the car do. And that's what it feels like with like specifically like the Washington Monument section. It's like you could have had a scene where like Peter figures out how to do this and that on his own, but no, it's just oh suit do this. Oh like if I break through at this force, I can break through the glass, and then Karen just goes like, oh yeah, kiss her now. Like, shut up! I'm trying to like get invested.
Oh man, that is a good point. You're really making me realize that is also a nitpick of mine. Yeah, because he's like on the Washington Monument, and then like the little spider in his chest, whatever, just becomes like a little drone thing that does
Right.
whatever. And he's like, "Oh, that's awesome." I mean, he says that's awesome about like everything. Like he's excited about every new feature and that sort of thing. That's a good point. Yeah, and then I do think the bit about Karen saying "kiss her" and like the reference to that is kind of funny. But yeah, he really doesn't do a lot of like figuring out on
Mm-hmm.
his own. Um,
Hell, even in the third act,
I think,
Ned kind of figures out everything for him.
yeah, he kind of saves the day when he shoots. But yeah, I could see that also being a thing. I don't really disagree with anything you've said,
Right. This isn't like Stranger Things.
which is nice. Well, so far, I think
Oh,
based on what you've said, I think we're gonna have some disagreements a little later
okay.
on.
All right. So yeah, actually, no. Let's move on to Far From Home because I think we've said everything you wanted to say about Homecoming. Right?
Yeah, Homecoming's a 9 out of 10 for me, just for the
Yeah,
clarity.
8 or 9 for me. It's like up there for me. Okay, now Far From Home. This was released right after Endgame, so I can understand
Yeah.
Marvel Studios' like approach with, hey, let's just do something light and breezy.
So this is the first Tom Holland Spider-Man movie I'd seen in theaters, because at this point I had just seen Endgame in theaters, and then for this I remember going to opening night, and I remember like it's funny because the way I feel about it now is not even necessarily what I thought of it then, but I just remember the whole first hour being like, wait, why was I that excited for this? Like I don't really care. For some reason I was like, I don't really care what's happening. Um, I think Far From Home has the weakest script
Right.
by far, to be honest. This one feels the most. I can see the criticism people have of like it feels a little like Disney Channel.
Mm.
Um, I love aspects of it, which makes it complicated because I think there's certain parts of it where they just get a lot of stuff right.
Right.
But honestly, like the whole first half is not that good. Like, I think it's cute and fine enough that like, okay, Peter likes MJ all of a sudden. I mean, whatever.
It
We
feels
didn't
like they
go
have to do that.
yeah, yeah. So I would like a little bit more there, but it's fine, I guess. Um, and they're going on this trip. That's fine. I understand that like Tom Holland. I keep saying his actual name because I know we're gonna end up confusing Peters in the third one. But Peter wants a break after all the Endgame stuff. I get all that. Another big missed opportunity for me in this movie, a big missed opportunity, is Aunt May's sort of nonchalant attitude to this whole thing.
Mm.
Not having Homecoming end with her finding out and it's like a big deal, and then Far From Home doing nothing with that is
Right.
crazy to me. In No Way Home, in No Way Home, and I know this because I know every single line in the movie, Peter even says like, "Oh, when my aunt found out, it was really messy. I don't want to do it again."
Right.
I'm like, we didn't even see that. We didn't see that. We saw in Far From Home, she was like, "Oh, you have your tingle thing," and throws a banana at him. I don't know. It's all just a little. Again, I get the breezy sort of nature of it, but like, it's a little um,
Goofy.
too jovial. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. And I think my also like okay, I've got two big like fundamental issues. First one, Brad, terrible. That whole thing.
Yeah.
I think the worst scene in maybe any Spider-Man movie is when he's with the like European girl and she's telling him to like take off his clothes.
Right.
And
Right.
like I've seen many people say this, but like if roles were reversed and it was a high school girl and some guy, it's messed up. Like it's
Right.
crazy that that's like played for laughs and like it's a really odd thing that now he wants to delete the message from Brad's phone. It's like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know. It just feel that whole first half because we have to spend the time without the Mysterio twist. We can't know
Right.
that he's bad yet. And Jake Gyllenhaal is one of my favorite actors, and I think he plays Mysterio as a villain great. But in the first half, it's just like, okay, when is this like good guy shtick gonna end? I mean, I think that really does damage to rewatching because it's just like, come on, Peter, what are you doing? Like, but
Right.
I get it. I get that, like, without Tony, he feels the need to, like, find a new mentor. I understand that, and so he's so quick to trust him. But I really don't think it's until the second half that I really start to like the movie. Everybody talks about the Mysterio sequence. I think that's one of the greatest things ever. And I remember in the theater seeing it and thinking, like, oh, this movie's awesome. Like, that convinced me that the movie was amazing, even though, and I love the final battle. Like, I think that stuff with the drones and when Peter makes his own suit. I also think the red and black suit is my second favorite suit
It's just the
from Tom
cleanest
Holland.
suit actually, visually.
It is. I love the white spider on the back. Like, yeah, the whole thing just works for me.
It's
So,
clear
like,
they took some inspiration
again,
off like the Insomniac design, because like that also had a very big white
mhm,
spider.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, and so I really like the second half of the movie, but I can't say that there's stuff I like in the beginning. There's some like cute stuff with MJ, and that's fun enough. It's sort of a similar sort of like coming of age.
Uh-huh.
Definitely feels in the same vein as Homecoming. But yeah, there's quite a few problems with it. I think it's one that really over time I've just become kind of lukewarm on.
Okay, I'm gonna yes and your point about the homecoming, about the coming of age narrative. I think that's what Watts was trying to do. It, but unfortunately, he's working for Marvel, so they tried to force his style of coming of age story with a Marvel movie. Yeah, looking back on it, there's a lot of like those quintessential Marvel isms that like you see a lot, right? Especially with the later, more lazier Marvel products. Things like, oh, now we have a multiverse. Oh, Nick Fury and his team are here for some reason and they're taking a lot of space. Oh, like the big thing of like, oh, there's a world ending threat every single time now. And for some reason, everyone is just playing along with it. Like the whole thing of like, oh, you've been to space. Oh, you were an Avenger. Therefore, you can do this. It feels like a meta layer of like Marvel trying to tell Watts that like, yo, your character is an Avenger now. We need you to step up your quality.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, like you can't just do the coming of age thing again.
Right.
Like we gotta pick up the pace almost.
Right. But and it kind of hurts the movie because like the scenes where it doesn't connect to the MCU are the best moments, except for Brad. Right?
What do you think are some of your like? What would you pick out then of like your favorite moments?
MJ and Peter kind of like confessing their feelings to each other on like the broken like tower bridge is really sweet. And again, like knowing what we know now about the actors who play those two, it's sweet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The smaller things of like Peter constantly being confused about like Happy and May's fling thing. That goes nowhere, by the way. Cool.
Dang, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's like a whole bit, and like even when he's on the plane, he's like,
Yeah.
"We didn't have a conversation about you and my aunt." It's like, oh my god. Yeah, yeah.
Right, like, and of course, obviously, like the whole drone sequence playing on like Peter's insecurities is really solid as well. It's visually gorgeous, but also like it feels like nothing is happening.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, because the like Mysterio prying like preying on Peter's insecurities and like failures as a hero, being like, oh, MJ is gonna die because of you. If it weren't for you, Tony would still be alive. Yeah, like all of that is very interesting on a like writing level, but it goes nowhere because it results in him screaming at Happy and like it being a 5 minute conversation.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he doesn't really become like his whole initial Mysterio's initial thing is just like, oh, I want to be a basically like the hero that people
Yeah,
revere.
it's
I'm going to be the
Syndrome from The
greatest
Incredibles. He's
hero,
just Syndrome
whatever.
from The Incredibles.
Oh yeah. And then he just has a vendetta against Peter because Peter's going to find out what he's doing. But like, yeah, I don't know. I to me it still wins me over enough where like I just think the visual of like the Iron Man coming up from the grave and the spiders coming out and the whatever. Like it's so cool that I'm like I'm suspending my disbelief so hard that I don't care. Like it doesn't even make sense in terms of like. So you're telling me he just like made this little CGI movie based, not movie, but I
No,
mean
honestly,
like
my first
the
viewing
actual
was
like.
like that, right? Like I was willing to just take it at face value and be like, whoa, that's cool. Like all of this can be done in drones, and also again, the VFX really like went hard on that. Like, it feels like that's the only part of the movie that like looks visually good and holds up today.
That's 100% true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, looking at it like years later, and again, like seeing as it does nothing to Peter's character, like it kind of does I don't know, it has a very small impact on Peter's characterization overall. It feels like wasting time.
I think I have a counter to that
Mm.
in a way in a way that mostly applies to No Way Home that we'll talk about. And it also allows me to defend No Way Home.
Okay.
But because I do think there's a very important like feeling that Peter something has to happen at the end of this movie. I'll just say this, like Mysterio dying from one of the drones, but not necessarily Peter, has to happen so that No Way Home works, and I'll touch on that when we get to it. I do think that it's sort of a weird arc in terms of like, I'm not the next Iron Man. And then he turns on, Back in Black or whatever by AC/DC. Right. And it's like, wait, so what is the message here? That when he's making the suit, he looks like Iron Man doing it or whatever. Is the message that he is the next Iron Man or that he's not? Or why are we even, like, it's an odd thing. I do think there's something more interesting somewhere in there of like him questioning who he can trust and all these sort of things. Like there's something in there, but they don't really do much with it. Like there's not really enough time. Like they spend time elsewhere doing nonsense.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of nonsense, Ned and Betty goes nowhere. It's funny.
I think it's fun enough. Like I think it gives Ned something to do. To be honest, like just and it is very high school. Oh, they break up as soon as the trip's over. Like all of that. I think the fact that Ned is so excited to be a bachelor in Europe and I think that's funny enough. I don't think he's maybe as funny as he is Ned, that is, as in Homecoming. I think he like progressively adds the movies. He's like kind of written out more and more as the movies go on. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like bits in this movie. Like there's the Ned and not Ned, Happy and
Happy and
Aunt May that absolutely they write off within 2
the stupid love triangle between him, MJ, and Brad. Also, the resolution with that is the most baffling choice ever.
Yeah, wait, so like he gets the photo removed from his phone.
He does not.
Yeah, he does. He
still has the photo.
The photo's not there. No, he doesn't. He says it was just here. Like Peter's relieved. He gets the photo removed. And then the teachers say, and he's like, because remember Brad's scrolling through his phone. He's like, I promise it was here. And then she's like, why are you taking photos of people in the bathroom?
Yeah, it's like, that's illegal.
I don't know. It's a very odd thing. It's a very, very odd thing. I think there's one funny Brad thing when they're on the plane. When he just says like classic MJ, am I right? And it's like you don't know. And like I find that I think the way that actor delivered that's funny, but it's not. Yeah, it's not compelling. By any means.
Exactly. Like it feels like another waste of time. But like, and again, why? Why do we need this in a movie that like seems to be?
Oh, and like they're in the opera, and then he like flips Peter off, and then Peter, like, I think there's already something interesting enough there of like Peter can't sit with her because he has to go do the Spider-Man stuff. That alone is interesting. We don't need Brad to be like in the way. That was never a threat or like a, I don't know. It's an
honestly
choice.
Like you mentioned that scene of like Peter wanting to go back to her, but then like Fury or whoever pulls him back to Spider-Maning. Like he just has no choice but to do it. Like that's amazing. That's really good. But also, you don't need, like, you're right. We don't need Brad for that.
It's like they obviously had decided at that point Flash was just a joke character. You know, he's not a bully anymore, really.
Like, because Flash has a lot of interesting things that, like, they tried to do with him, but it will ultimately go nowhere because of the MCU.
Don't they say in Far From Home, like, there's some reference at the end. He's like waiting for his parents at the airport.
Could Mother not make it?
Like, his mother not. Yeah. I always wondered what that. Well, obviously it'll lead to nothing.
Because like comic law, like I'm not gonna be the type of guy to like, oh well, in the comics here it is. No, but like according to like some sources, i.e. the comics, Flash he does become a Green Goblin at some point. So does
I
Ned.
always thought of him as just like an Agent Venom or whatever.
Right, yeah, that too. Like either him or Ned becomes a villain at some point.
Yeah.
But also like that's interesting, but they do nothing with it for some reason. I don't get it. Like when Peter puts on the Edith glasses, you can like kind of see through all the messages. There's a few jokes there of like, oh, Brad is also looking at romantic places to take MJ to in Prague. Yeah, in Prague. Like one of the teachers is like, oh, witches and stuff.
Yeah.
Right,
I
and
like
then
that.
like there's a
I like
text.
the teachers personally.
Yeah, no, and then like the text conversation from like Flash is just like, oh, mother, like something about like his parent.
Yeah. Wow,
But
if you hadn't brought that up, I would completely forget.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't. It adds nothing. It's such an interesting perspective. It's such an interesting plot point that they just will never do anything with it.
Yeah, because I don't think he's even in Brand New Day.
Yeah, and it's not like Tony Revolori is like free. It is like busy anything, right?
Right.
He was in one Wes Anderson movie after the Spider-Man trilogy. Then that's it.
Yeah. Oh, and he was also in this movie Roof Man, for like 5 seconds. I really like that movie. The final negative thing that I'll say about Far From Home, because I've really only said negatives so far, is, and it really doesn't have an actual hindrance on the movie itself, because if you just get up and leave before the final post-credit scene, you're not even going to think of it. But the actual implication of Nick Fury being a Skrull and where he'll be a Skrulls is actually so stupid. And like the fact that that was a setup for Secret Invasion, which I obviously didn't watch. I don't.
Okay.
I'd rather just not know that exists. I think it only works in retrospect because in No Way Home, he's like, Nick Fury was there the whole time. And like, oh, Nick Fury's been off planet for the last. Well, I don't know. It's all kind of murky, and I'm like, it kind of ruins the fact that like Nick Fury is like, I wouldn't say he's a big part of this movie. Like by no means is he like I don't think he has the same amount of screen time as like Tony Stark in Homecoming.
Right.
I mean, maybe it's pretty even, but he doesn't have much impact as far as like Happy is a way bigger player in this movie than Nick Fury. Nick Fury's just there to be like, look, another Marvel person,
right?
and to kind of be a motivator of like, you need to step up and whatnot. But like, yeah, it's a terrible decision, honestly. I think that like post-credit scene.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I genuinely like don't care about the whole Skrull thing because that's a big catch-22 with like every dead character in the MCU. Oh, Rhodey's paralyzed and or gone. Ah, he's a Skrull now. Tony's dead. He's a Skrull now. Foggy dies in Daredevil. He's a Skrull.
He's a Skrull. Yeah, people were saying that. That's crazy. I'm glad Foggy's dead. That's besides the point.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as my positives go, again, I like the second half. I like the Mysterio stuff. I like the Spidey sense stuff. I think that's pretty creative with the drones. I generally like I think Peter and MJ have a cute ending. That's cool. I think it is funny that I think one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the post-credit scene of his identity getting revealed. Just because I remember just being like, oh my gosh, not only is like J. Jonah Jameson back, but also because that was just such a big deal. But then also I remember at the time thinking, oh my gosh, what could they possibly do? Now, if you had told me right then and there, oh, they're gonna like have Toby and Andrew come in, I wouldn't have believed you. Like that wouldn't have made any sense. And it doesn't even feel like that. You can tell that's not what they were planning for. Like that's not what that was supposed to set up. But that's fine. I'll ignore that.
Also,
but yeah, what are your?
No,
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's the like with the post credit scene. I do like on a rewatch, like the whole like the camera glitching out before like him revealing the big punchline. Right? I like how in theaters that was supposed to like that was your drumming up of like excitement moment, and like when I was rewatching it, I understand like the feeling it was trying to invoke of like they're not gonna do that, right? They're not gonna do this. And also J.K. Simmons coming back.
Pretty short-lived consequence, but
but like still like but also J.K. Simmons coming back as J. Jonah Jameson. I'm not a big fan of having like the same actor like it's cool for people who have grown up with the Raimi trilogy, right? that like, oh, you're gonna see this guy again. But also, J.K. Simmons has a career now. He does not need this.
I would agree with you if it was anybody but J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, because I don't want anybody to ever do it besides him, which I know is not fair. But I just mean, like, even in Across the Spider-Verse, he's the voice for J. Jonah Jameson, and I just think that's so fun that he is always finding his way in these things. And I wouldn't have been mad if in the Insomniac games he was. I know he's not, but I wouldn't have been mad if he was. Just because it's so. It is also such a different take from the Tobey stuff, like the Tom Holland version, that it doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel like retreading the exact same thing.
Yeah, it feels very Alex Jonesy.
I
think Americans would specifically get that.
Yes. Okay, so I want to ask this about Far From Home before we move on from it. What things do you like about it?
Ooh, I think like some of the fight scenes are solid. Like Mysterio, the second like post-reveal Mysterio, when it's just Jake Gyllenhaal being like what he does best, like that sociopathic, borderline insane
Nightcrawler. Yeah.
Right, like Nightcrawler and like a few of the other movies, and like that's and again like I think after like when I started like getting to know you and like the band, Nightcrawler is one of the movies that you recommended for me with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, that does seem like something I would do. Yeah. I don't remember that, but yeah.
Right, yeah. And Nightcrawler really like opened me up to how good of an actor Gyllenhaal is. Even though to most people he will always be known as the guy who dumped Taylor Swift.
No, Jake Gyllenhaal's my king. I don't care. Stay mad, Taylor Swift. Probably shouldn't say that. I will say my last thing that I don't like about this movie is that I know the deleted scenes that they cut. And I cannot believe they cut this sequence where he's fighting this mob early in the movie in a restaurant. And he's quipping with all of them, and they show it in the trailers too. And I think the movie really needs that because you don't see him do any Spider-Man thing until the water monster.
Right.
And then even then, like, there's this bit about how he hits his head on the bell like twice or something, and it's so unfunny. And then Mysterio just steps in and does all the work, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, can he do something cool? Like, it's crazy to me that like they cut that out because it's maybe a 2-minute scene. Right. And it's a part of I don't know how much you know, but it's a part of like a larger sequence called Peter's to-do list. And they ended up turning it into like a 3-4 minute short film. Yeah. And I loved that. Like, keep all that stuff, but because it feels very Spider-Man, like, oh, I got to go pick up this thing, and then I got to go fight these guys, like, or fight this crime family or whatever it is. So yeah, terrible decision. Whoever, if that's Sony, if that's Marvel, whoever. When I saw, I don't know if you knew this, but like maybe 2 years ago, they did a thing where they replayed every Spider-Man movie in theaters.
Right. It's a US thing only, so unfortunately.
Yeah, so for every one of those, they played the extended versions. And that's the only time I've ever seen that extended version combined, like the deleted scenes put back in the movie. Because you can't just find that on, at least I don't think you can. And so it literally, when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, this was so much better. And it's really not that much better, to be honest. It adds like 4 minutes.
No, but like it helps with the characterization.
Yeah. But overall, like, I think realistically, I probably am like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Another criticism I have: the movie doesn't hold up visually. I mean, yeah, Mysterio and the drones look good, and again, like the scene where Mysterio just gets the aura farm for the sake of aura farming is good. But like otherwise, all the basic scenes where they're just sitting around talking, it's like the lighting is so unnatural.
I'm trying to think of examples of it.
Okay, bridge scene. Bridge scene just doesn't feel like they're on a set. It feels like it's against the green screen.
Like when you're talking about when like
Peter and MJ, like
Peter and MJ
talk. Yeah.
Oh, and really? I've always thought that was filmed on location, which is absolutely not the case, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know. And like also like they didn't really do a good job. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't really do a good job with like the nanotech thing. God, I'm so happy that they didn't do the nanotech like suit with Far From Home onwards. Like they still have a physical scene.
Well, they did Iron Spider and No Way Home.
That's for like 30 minutes, right? Yeah.
Yeah, not even maybe. Yeah, he's in it for like the one fight with Doc Ock. That's it.
Right.
And I feel like that's a necessity because you need him to have the Iron Spider arms against Doc Ock. Like that would be a crime not to have that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that like I found visually interesting about the movie.
Right.
I think especially some part that looks murky to me is like in the final battle, Ned and MJ and all the friends are like running from the storm monster and there's all this destruction. I remember feeling that was a little cheap looking.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I don't know if that's ever been a big complaint for me, but
Yeah. Also, like the shtick with the two teachers, again, the two actors who play the teachers are really good. Like they are comedians and they sell it very well. But also, like the shtick goes a bit too hard and it focuses on them a little bit too much. Like they step in.
Yeah,
like,
I remember feeling like there's a part where it's like, yeah, this is probably too much of this. Like, oh yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff I don't like. I remember like when Nick Fury's at the door, or sorry, Nick Fury's in Peter's room, and Martin Starr's character, I can't think of his name. What is his name? The teacher's name? Mr. Herring?
Harry or
I keep
yeah,
thinking
sure.
it's Harrington.
Harrington.
I don't know.
Harrington. It's Harrington. Right.
Really?
Yeah, it's Harrington.
Like Steve, like Stranger Things. Okay.
Oh my god!
Yeah, they're related. No, I think yeah, he like keeps interrupting, and then Nick Fury says some punchline of like, "We're gonna attend another funeral." Man, there's a lot of stuff that's not funny in this movie.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's this movie has definitely soured on me over time, and I have no problem usually skipping it. I don't think it's as egregious as a like Spider-Man 3 to me and Tobey's trilogy is such a stain on that. I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 is terrible.
Right.
Like, give or take. Maybe that's harsh, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't think this is that level because some people say Far From Home is the worst Spider-Man movie. I think that's kind of hyperbolic personally. But
it is the weak.
You think it's the weakest total overall?
No, it's the weakest in the Holland trilogy.
Okay.
Right. Like it feels like again, like it's a post-credit scene for the entirety of the MCU. You can skip it.
Yeah. I forget that it's even considered post Endgame. Like I forget that that's even a thing because when I think of post Endgame, I think of like WandaVision, Black Widow. Post pandemic is how I think.
Right.
And so yeah, I'm sure that.
And also that's fascinating. Now that you mention it, Spider-Man was the last Marvel movie we had before the world shut down.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Okay. And also like very interesting to think about. But speaking of the pandemic, we have to talk about No Way Home. You ready for this?
Oh yeah.
3, that's a magic number. Yes it is.
I've got so many rebuttals,
Okay.
It's crazy.
Alright. I'll let you start first.
No Way Home to me, I have incredible bias, and I'll start with that up front. This may be another Stranger Things situation. But No Way Home for me is a top 5 movie in my existence. Total, in all of movies. Okay. I've seen it, again, 45 times, probably. And I saw it 5 times in theaters at the time. And I don't think I've ever been more excited for a movie. Just at the prospect of what it was. I would read everything about it. Oh, Electro's coming back. Why is Electro coming back? Oh, Doc Ock is coming back. What is this movie or whatever? And it really got me. The No Way Home hype is what fully got me into the MCU, actually. Like that, I still was like, I still went and saw Far From Home and all this sort of stuff. But like during the pandemic, I had done everything and like, the build up to No Way Home was just like such an exciting thing that like I even post release of this movie, we're almost 5 years on now. I have not put more time into researching anything in my lifetime, probably. I've seen every interview. I know every behind the scenes detail that I possibly can. I have books on the movie. Like there's a couple books that are about the movie.
Art books,
yeah, like one of them's an art book, and then one of them's just like yeah. So I can acknowledge all of that there's bias there, and like there was no way this movie I wasn't gonna love it just at the prospect of what it was.
Right.
But I think the reason why I overlook any sort of like obvious flaws, because I can fully admit that, like, and Tom Holland has even said this in interviews, that you can feel that this movie is shot on a soundstage. There's
Right.
nothing real in it. I don't want to say nothing, but I mean pretty much nothing. Like, there's maybe a couple different sets they go to, but for the most part, like, everything with Toby and Andrew outside of the lab is on a blue screen. Um,
Right.
all that stuff, and it sort of is a weird feeling for the movie because, like, this is the movie where people know Peter's identity. This should be chaos. There should be people everywhere. There should be, and they have that a little bit in, like, the opening, which is essentially just an extension of the Far From Home post-credit scene. But outside of that, you don't see a lot. It doesn't feel very New York. Everything's very contained. The final battle, 3 Spider-Men are just with a bunch of villains at the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
That's all very, again, that's like isolated in a way that it has to be. But take that away, take that like element of away, and I think with what they had, it's kind of the best that it gets. I think
Right.
there actually is only one shot in the movie that I think the green screen's obvious. It's a very specific scene
the
on the
Flash
bridge
one,
with
right?
Doc Ock.
Huh?
No, actually, I've never thought that,
Oh.
and I only see it now when I pause the movie.
Uh.
But if I'm not doing that, I don't. It's so fast. It's like 10 seconds or something. But there is a scene on the bridge where Peter's standing next to Doc Ock, and Peter's like revealing that he's in control of the arms, and the lighting is just way off. It's like, this is not naturally how the sunlight would be hitting you, and all this sort of stuff. But this is all nitpicky stuff, because No Way Home, to me, the reason why it works is because I think it easily has Peter's strongest arc, and I think that even without Toby and Andrew, Tom Holland, it is easily his best performance.
Right.
I don't think it's even particularly close. I think it's probably the best performance in any Spider-Man movie,
How is his
personally.
performance in the Odyssey? By the way, I'm gonna see the Odyssey tomorrow, but like,
You're asking me what I think of it?
no, like, how was Tom Holland's
Are
performance
you-
in the Odyssey?
That's a good question. I think he's the weakest of the leads.
Ah.
I think the script does him a disservice.
Okay.
I think his writing in the first act or two is really on the nose. And it's not until Act 3 where I'm like, that's why you got the job. That's what I think.
Okay.
You'll see.
Okay.
You'll agree with me, I'm sure.
Okay, I'll see.
I think most people would, to be honest. But anyways, for No Way Home, I think even something that is a big complaint for people, where the whole entire premise of the movie, the fact that he goes to Doctor Strange, and the spell is done within like 2 seconds, all this sort of stuff. To me, this says a lot more about, again, I'm perfectly fine with Peter's character being a little bit reckless, and the fact that they didn't discuss it beforehand, to me, is just so intentional to discuss the spell, is so intentional in the fact that, like, Peter just wants it the way he wants it, and he just thinks that Doctor Strange can, like, basically read his mind and just know that, oh, obviously, I like this part of it, but I don't like this. Like, that's the way he thinks of it. He's just like, I like this good part of it, of people knowing that I'm Spider-Man. I don't like the bad parts. And that's a very, like, juvenile way of thinking. Do I think that Doctor Strange could have been a little less easy to convince? Because he really does it on a dime, to be honest. I think there could have been something a little deeper there. But I also think it's kind of interesting for Doctor Strange's character that he just genuinely feels bad for him. Like, he just genuinely is like,
Right.
I get it, it's a mess, whatever. I'll help you out. I also think it's just a really fun way to the actual spell itself being basically everybody that knew I was Spider-Man before should still know. The fact that that is the catalyst to bring in the villains that knew him. Granted, did Electro know who Andrew Spider-Man was? No. Ignore that plot hole. I gladly ignore that. I think that's a big complaint people have that's never, ever, ever bothered me. I think it just says a lot about his arc. But then from that point forward, like after that, because I think that's about like 25 minutes in when that kicks off. Because Act 1 is really just about picking up the pieces from Far From Home. Like, they had to kind of write that plot out. The whole, like, oh, there's legal ramification because you may have murdered him. Like, oh, just get Matt Murdock in for like 2 seconds and just make it fun, and then just
Also, it is wild to realize that was Matt Murdock's, like, debut.
I know. I'm so used to now Daredevil being back,
Right.
and like we've had 2 seasons of Born Again. I always forget that was such a big deal at the time, because
Right.
I had seen the whole Daredevil show at the time, and there were obviously rumors like, oh, he's going to be in it, whatever. And obviously, he's only in it for like a minute.
Right.
I think it is a fun thing that doesn't need, because some people were like, oh, I wish this movie like dealt with the legal ramifications or whatever. We ain't got time for that. Like that's not what this movie is. Yeah, I love that. Obviously. I also think I think what makes it so much better to me, the fact that Peter is doing this spell, is because it's not a selfish thing entirely. People are constantly saying how like Peter constantly makes the same mistakes or whatever else. It's him seeing his friends' reaction, MJ and Ned, their futures being ruined. That's his whole reason. It's not like, oh, my life sucks, so I need to fix this. It's
I
not
think
until he
says that in the
sees
trailer,
them.
right? It's like this isn't about me. It's about like my friends.
Right. And I think selfishly, some of it is about him.
Mm.
He's not sort of admitting that. I think Strange even says something like, "You're trying to live 2 different lives" and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, all I really could go through like the whole movie, but like then we obviously get into like Doc Ock. That fight scene is badass. I think one of the best Tom Holland fight scenes. I think the Green Goblin reveal's fun.
Mm.
I think when the movie really starts to pick up the stride for me is post when he finds Sandman and Electro. And Norman is meeting the other villains and they're realizing that it's their fate to die. This is what I meant when I said that I think Far From Home is necessary.
Mm.
I think it's so important that Peter feels guilty about the fact that Mysterio died, even if he hated the guy, that he's like, I can't have that happen again. I can't have these villains die. And also he just doesn't want to do that. Like he doesn't, Aunt May just basically says that to him. Like you can either, if you just send them home, you're doing that because it's easy for you.
Right.
But if you have an opportunity here to help them, like there's something there. So that's when the movie really, to me, I think Willem Dafoe, Alfred Molina are easily the standouts. Jamie Foxx is fun, like whatever. He's just doing the Jamie Foxx thing.
Right.
At least it's better than Amazing Spider-Man 2. Lizard and Sandman are just there. And my least favorite line in the movie is like, there's some line about like, did you get glasses and a makeover or whatever?
Right.
Or, like, did you get whatever? And it's like, holy moly, did you have to say? Because like, that's so unnecessary. I get the sort of exposition dump. Why does he look different? But all you need for that, because I understand that's why that's there. You need to explain away the fact that he looks different in some jokey way.
Right.
But all you need is later in the apartment when Electro is looking at his reflection and he says, I kind of like who I am here. And he is clearly like admiring the fact that he looks cooler and is more powerful and all this sort of stuff. That's all you need. So cut that line. It's my least favorite line in the whole movie, and like I just ignore it because the lizard is just completely. It's like, what movie are you in?
No,
but I do like
the lizard. All the lizard's lines in retrospect just feel like a Saturday morning cartoon. Like, oh, you look ugly.
Yeah.
I can make you better.
The only thing that I like from the lizard is he tells Peter when you try to fix people, there's always consequences.
Right.
And then they're in the apartment fight, and he says, I told you there'd be consequences. It's like, that feels like the lizard from Amazing Spider-Man. But otherwise, it's just like Rhys Ifans just recording in a booth like, oh, I am a lizard. And it's like, it's like, what is this? And then like Sandman, obviously, I think, so I don't know if you know, but there was originally like a whole plot line of like why he could only be in sand form. And that was like going to inform his decision to go home. And they had to cut all that out because there was just no time. Okay. And I think that would have made it so much better. Like it would have made it better. But pretty much the whole time he's just like, I need to see my daughter, which is essentially how he is in Spider-Man 3.
His motivation is so, like, most of their motivations, like, they're so weak. I don't get Electro's motivation.
Wait, most of them? Wait, what? Wait. No. Okay, you're wrong about this. Okay, so what were you going to say about Electro's motivation?
Okay, what is Electro's motivation? I just want to be power.
It's either die or be... Yeah, it's either die or be... Would you rather, if you were given the opportunity, be a better version of yourself or just die? Like, wouldn't you think? Even if that just means you have more power.
Oh, okay. Now that you mention that, okay, that's fair. Okay, right.
I feel like that's a pretty clean-cut motivation.
Like, I think that... I think the way you mentioned it, like, that could have been the motivation that, like, focused on, but no. all I see from the movie and the way that it's presented is just the fact that like I like power.
I think the other reason that Electro works for me is because when Green Goblin is giving his speech in one of the most peak scenes of all time,
Right.
when Peter has the spider sense and all this, that to me that's the best Spidey sense scene in any of these movies. And it's like Jon Watts has some sauce. I don't care what people say. And you see a look when Green Goblin glances over to
The what are you looking
Electro,
at me?
basically
Yeah.
saying like, yeah, no, but then he also says like gods don't have to choose.
Right.
And he glances down at his thing like beeping, about to take over to cure his thing, and he's like, wait a minute, like I could just still like I think it really works that Electro's kind of the inciting outside of Green Goblin, that those two together are, because obviously at this point Doc Ock's already been cured, which I also think is a great scene. Like that's something I always felt like Spider-Man 2 was a little weird that he just like all of a sudden like snaps out of it, and then
Right.
he's just like, Peter, drown the thing. It's like, what? And then in this, the actual like the actual chip gets fixed, and Alfred Molina I think plays that really well, of just like it immediately switches him back to how he was before, in the first act of Spider-Man 2. But keep going on your villain thing, on the villain motivation thing, because I probably have a counter from almost all of these.
Okay. Sandman's is just I want to see my daughter again.
I think it's not just that. I think it's also interesting that he in the final battle is saying, give me the box because I just want to go home. I don't care about being cured. These other guys, if they stick around, they're going to just destroy that thing. And so like I think it works that like the fight gets paused midway through, mostly so that Peters can like figure out a plan. But it's Sandman that's surrounding Electro because he's not even on the same side as Electro or
Right.
Lizard or any of these other guys. Like he knows that the more that they fight the Peters, other villains fight the Peters, he has less and less of a chance of getting home. So I think there's something interesting there. I'm digging a little deep to get to that point. Like the movie doesn't do a lot to do that. Like there's not even a line about that or really anything. I mean, there is, like Tom Holland says, like, Flynn, we can...
Like Flynn, we're trying to save
or,
you.
no,
and
sorry,
he just goes,
Toby
"I don't
says
care."
that.
Right.
Yeah. One of them says that. And then who else is in them? What other villains are there?
Oh yeah, no.
Green Goblin, I think he always just loves... I love it. He loves just causing chaos. I mean, his whole motivation is literally he just wants to ruin Peter's life.
What's Lizard's motivation here? The character that not even Marvel wanted on screen for more than 5 seconds, by the way, just put him in a truck for half the movie.
Yeah, save money on the budget. I think the only thing that is interesting about that is he doesn't know. There's a reason why Electro doesn't reveal to him that he doesn't die in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Because he doesn't.
He says, "Tell me, Max, do I die?" And he doesn't, but he doesn't know that. And so for all he knows, when he goes back, he's dead. So, vague motivation. But again, I've studied this movie thoroughly to maybe write away any plot grievances. Yeah. I think Green Goblin is a million times better in this movie than Spider-Man 1. And it's not even close.
Yeah.
The suit, ditch that crap. I hate it. The Power Ranger thing. It looks terrible. Like, the suit that they give him, the, like, sort of disgruntled look, he's got the purple hoodie this time. It fits, like, story-wise. The fact that you can see Willem Dafoe's performance makes it infinitely better. Like, the apartment fight, to me, or whatever you want to call that, in Happy's thing, with Green Goblin and Tom is the best Spider-Man fight to me, and I will fight anybody on that.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the train thing in Spider-Man 2. I think it's better than the final fight with Green Goblin in Spider-Man 1, even though I really do like that fight. It's like so brutal. Definitely better than any other Tom Holland fight. And like it's the only time that you see Tom Holland like going off. Like he is trying to like he is punching him and like they're getting thrown through floors and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, I think Green Goblin tears it up in this movie. And even the last fight too. I think that's great too. So what have we not touched on?
Okay.
I kind of derailed this.
I think on the on the Green Goblin discussion, like you're right. Like I do like how they treat Green Goblin's like alter ego as him trying to run from his, and like again, like it is very good the way that he conveys the difference between Norman and the Goblin, right? Because like
Yeah.
Norman feels like, you know, Willem Dafoe. He's just being himself. He's just like a shy, quiet
Yeah.
man. And then Gabi is just the most unhinged guy ever. And going back to the idea of like the apartment fight, like Watts is a good horror director because like the scene where he's just wailing on Gabi and then he just laughs in like Tom's face, that
Yeah.
feels like a horror moment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember watching the movie and thinking like, this is like, because they didn't reveal any of that in the trailers or anything like that. So
Right.
that was one of the things that like was so surprising to me. That whole fight in general. I also think he just has a lot of interesting dialogue. Like even the way he phrases, like, I was watching you from deep behind Norman's cowardly eyes. Like it's
Right.
clearly this alternate thing. And then obviously when Doc Ock addresses him and he's like, aren't you glad you can finally just be you? And he's like, oh, it's just me or whatever. You can like sense he's so good at switching. He's just a menace. Like his only motivation is to just, obviously, same sort of thing. He doesn't want to go back and die. But then, more than that, he's just here to, like,
Rex.
fuck shit up.
Right.
Like, yeah, like, and I like that. Like, it's, there doesn't really, he literally says to Peter, he's like, you tried to fix me, and I'm going to fix you. And I feel like to fix you, you need to see the consequence, and I'm just going to kill. Well, first of all, he's just going to kill Aunt May,
Right.
and then he has no problem doing that with the glider. And then one of my favorite like sound design things, is Peter's like beaten down to the ground, and during one of Norman's lines, he stomps on Peter, and Peter smacks his head against the ground. I'm like,
Right.
damn, this is brutal. Like he's getting like, I personally love to see a superhero getting beat up. Like, I know that sounds weird, but I mean, like, I think the reason why the final fight in Spider-Man 1 works is because Tobey is not doing well for like the entire fight. Like Green Goblin is pretty much just the bomb blows up in Tobey's face. They do a really good job in those movies of like the damaged suits,
Right.
which I am hoping that they bring back for Brand New Day because they don't do any of that here. I think the reason why I can't write off this movie as like this nostalgia thing or whatever else people say is because I do think that like something like Aunt May's death is infinitely more compelling than any time Uncle Ben has ever died in one of these movies. I think her death scene and the way they play that, even though I wish Aunt May's character was written differently in this trilogy, I wish there was a little bit more meat on the bones. Like there's just the way they repeat the lines from Homecoming, where she says to Peter in Homecoming, "It's just you and me." Like she's just saying that when they're talking, and that's what Peter says to me. Oh, like I can't even talk about it without getting like emotional. I love this movie too much. And Tom Holland's performance in that is one of the greatest things of my life, and you feel that, and it's like everybody that was always saying that Tom Holland had no consequence or had none of this, none of that. It's like he is taken to his absolute lowest. Like they're just shooting at him. Like and then Happy's arrested and all this sort of stuff. That doesn't obviously go anywhere. But I mean, no time for that. I think that's when the movie makes the most obvious distinct turn, and this is about like an hour in at this point. Where it's like, to me, that's where it becomes the best Spider-Man movie.
Right.
Is
before
Green
Tobey and
Goblins.
Andrew come in, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do have to say that like I like May's death scene as well. Like, it is really well done on like a technical level, which does go into like my big issue and my feelings with No Way Home specifically, where it is a really good movie. However, it is also a little bit more flawed than people like give it credit. Like, the visual,
Tell me why.
it looks like shit. It like some of the things, like some of the story decisions.
It doesn't. You're telling me when he's like, I'll give you plenty of examples. You're telling me when he's, maybe you'll disagree with this, when he's fighting Strange in the mirror dimension, you think that looks bad?
Sony has each of the movies have one scene where they look good.
Okay, there's that. I think the Green Goblin fight looks near perfect.
Okay.
I don't even notice much CG in that. I think Aunt May's death looks good. I think him standing with the Joe
Right.
I can't even talk, billboard, and you see like the light reflecting on him and it's in the rain.
The
That's
red and
great.
blue as well. Right.
Yeah. I guess the final fight stuff doesn't look so good. It's a very like brown scene, that last fight.
I mean,
Like there's not a
I
whole lot
see.
of color
Have you
there.
noticed that that's a tradition with like a lot of comic book movies now?
I know. I don't want to think about it.
Flash, Supergirl. Uh,
Yeah. It's like to me that should be such a like vibrant like night sky blue tinted like
mm-mm.
similar to the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like I love the despite all my problems with it, that movie looks great, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Um like the night scene of him and Goblin fighting near the
I
clock
was gonna
tower and
say
stuff like that.
Electro in
That
the comic
craps
books.
on oh yeah, even that too. Like that compared to No Way Home's final fight. I mean, yeah, it's
Mm.
not comparable in terms of film. But okay, tell me your other flaws besides that.
It looks ugly. Ned is so sidelined.
Yeah, we don't
He
really
has
got time
one
for him.
scene where like he does get to show that he is in fact a character in the movie, like the whole fight in Peter Parker bit,
Yeah.
right? But there's a lot, especially with the ending shots of that, like there's a huge emotional goodbye with him and MJ specifically, and even as he leaves, the camera keeps switching to MJ's perspective. I wanna see Ned was the important character there. Ned was also important.
Oh, really? I think Peter and MJ are so good in this movie that I don't think I've ever thought that. Like, for example, I think that in the lab, the most important scene for even Andrew's Peter is when him and MJ are like looking at each other, or they have their like heads nested on each other, whatever. And Peter says something about like, "This is all my fault," and
Right.
I promise you I'll fix this. And then Andrew sees that and it's like, oh my gosh, like this is what I had with Gwen and all this sort of stuff. And I also think Zendaya is just like an amazing actress that like it's infinitely more compelling to me when for their goodbye than like I don't know if I've ever thought like, oh, Ned is not in this. That's interesting. Like I wouldn't even say I disagree with that. I've just never thought.
No, like that, because like again, I'm happy that
And
like,
hey, he's a sorcerer.
whoa, that
For
goes
some
nowhere.
reason.
Watch that go nowhere as well.
Hey, no. Hey, no. In Doomsday, he's going to be like, he's going to open a portal and save the day.
I'm magic now.
Yeah, that is funny. Because I also don't know if you know that, like, originally this movie was supposed to be after Multiverse of Madness, and America Chavez
Oh.
was supposed to be in this movie, and she was going to be the one to open the portals to everything, which I'm glad that was not the case. Get her out of here.
Wait, America Chavez?
But, yeah, she was supposed to be, like, a main character in the movie.
Oh my
And
god.
she was supposed to be the reason that and then they changed it because Doctor Strange is coming out after. And then they're like, just give Ned the powers. Like, just give Ned the ability to make portals.
Sure.
For no reason, really. I think I would feel worse about Ned being sidelined if there weren't two other Peter Parkers.
That's fair. Yeah. You know what? Let's talk about what the movie becomes after the two of them show up. Obviously, that was hype in theaters.
Right. Yes.
But watching it at home, it is very clear that like the second Andrew just shows up, one, he's on a soundstage. Two, when he takes off his mask and just stares directly into the barrel of the lens, it's just, oh, this is your please clap moment. I see.
Well, Andrew, when he shows up, is definitely not on a soundstage. Like, the way that's... You mean, like, in the portal?
No, from the kitchen scene behind him, like when he shows up, it doesn't feel real. The lighting is
That's
very
definitely
surreal.
real. I don't know if I've ever thought... Again, I've rewatched this movie at home
Right.
40 times. And I don't know if I've ever thought, like, there's so much space to, like, clap.
Ah.
Because I remember being really annoyed when I saw the movie for the first time that people were clapping and I couldn't hear Andrew's next line. And I remember just being so annoyed, so I was so excited to, like, not see it in theaters so that I could hear what he was
Right.
saying. Because he says, he, like, first gets there and he takes off his mask and he's like, okay. And he's, like, figuring this out. And I really like his performance of, like, it's the sort of science-y thing, and he's like figuring out, he's like multi-dimensional reality, you know, whatever. I've never understood, and I think the funniest thing to me when Toby walks through the portal and Ned's like, it's just some guy. Like, that's funny to me. The reason that scene really works is because Tom Holland just had the heaviest scene in his trilogy.
Right.
we need a little like levity, and we need all of them to be together without Tom Holland's Peter before they all get together.
Right.
Like some people say that the entrance should have been more cinematic and they should have swung in and helped him or something like that. And I don't like that at all because like I think there's something really fun about them all. I think when Toby and Andrew see each other for the first time and they fight.
It's like a Spider-Sense reverb,
whatever.
right?
Yeah. And the way they both do the flip together, like all of that stuff is so it's gimmicky, I guess. But I mean, like I think instantly it's so obvious to me, and maybe you don't agree with this, but Andrew in this movie, I think really proves why he is the best.
Oh no, he's the
of
best.
the
Yeah,
three.
he's like really good.
Yeah. Like it honestly he walks circles around Tobey Maguire, especially. Like Toby just sort of he doesn't have that much to do, to be honest.
Right.
Like it's not like and that's always kind of been how Toby is. Like I don't think Toby has ever had the strengths as an actor as Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, it feels a lot more like what's the word? Like the writers have a bias to Andrew's Spider-Man.
I think this whole movie is obviously this story of like redemption and
Second chance.
getting these villains cured and yes exactly. And yeah, who needs a second chance more than anybody? Andrew 100% needed it more than anybody else. Like this movie obviously has the responsibility of I said it again has the responsibility of like taking Tom's arc so much further and making him into like the Spider-Man we're supposed to know. But like just as important, it needs to maybe not as important, but like the closure you get for Andrew's Spider-Man is
something.
I remember just seeing Amazing Spider-Man 2 in theaters and like Gwen dies and I'm like 14 at this time and I'm like oh that's sad and but I'm like knowing that it has less to do with even just how the movie ended for him and more so when you know all the behind the scenes things of like how badly Andrew got screwed over it makes it that much more rewarding to know that like he was brought back. So I do think that for people that don't know every lore bit of like how much he had a complicated relationship with Sony and all this sort of stuff, like if you don't know that, it means a lot less. Like I do think that if somebody tried to watch this movie and had not seen those movies, like if they'd only seen Tom Holland's movies, it doesn't really work. Like it can't really function. Like they give you some exposition here and there to catch people up. But Andrew
Small
crying
things,
about
like,
Gwen or
small
something,
things,
like, that would, you really have to know what's up, to be honest.
Right. The thing of like the thing of like Toby going like, oh, I got what I wanted by like killing the guy who murdered my uncle, but at what cost, right? You wouldn't know, like you wouldn't really get that emotional weight if you hadn't seen.
Well, even the way he says it, he says, I killed the guy who I thought had done it.
Right.
Because, again, he was not the one who did it. Flint Marko was. And, like, that attention to detail is, like, I think is very nice. Because, there's plot holes here and there. But I just mean, for the most part, like, they're pretty consistent with how they're writing each thing. Or even when Sandman shows up, he's willing to help Peter because they ended on good terms. That just all feels like very intentional to me in the right way. But then obviously I think most people would agree that the best scene, we've already been talking about it, is them on the rooftop.
Right.
And comparing everything. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen this movie, when Toby's Peter finishes the line, with great power comes great responsibility, and then says maybe she didn't die for nothing, and they realize that like there's fate in that,
right?
Because that's what I think this movie really does right, that I think a lot of people don't give it enough credit for. The whole reason for Toby and Andrew being there is to save Tom Holland's Peter from making the same mistakes they did. So Andrew's responsibility is to obviously mend his biggest wound in that he can save MJ, and Toby's responsibility is to stop Tom from going down this like darker path and killing the Green Goblin, because yes, he technically killed the Goblin in the first one. I mean, it was kind of accidental. He just flipped and then just hit Willem Dafoe. But still, like that is like incredibly compelling to me, that if they weren't there, if it wasn't for the fate of those two being there, MJ's dead. And Peter's just going to kill him. He's not even persuaded entirely on the rooftop that he shouldn't kill Green Goblin. When they start making the cures, and Toby's like, we got to cure all of them. Tom still doesn't want to cure the goblin. He wants to kill him.
Like that's like
he's already made up
those
his
are
mind.
really sweet. Like that's a really nice touch, by the way. Like he's still like
Yeah.
when he goes through, like he brings out all the bag. He's like, oh, I got Electro, Sandman, and then he doesn't even say Goblin. He doesn't
say it. He just sets it down.
Right.
That's so smart because it's not like he is just because these guys have come in. He's like, oh yeah, now I'm better now. Like no, he wants to kill him for what he did. He is fully like even when Toby stops the glider, from Tom. Right. Tom still doubles down and pushes through or tries to.
Right.
Meaning he's almost willing to kill Toby to get to Goblin.
Right.
And it's only just Toby glancing at him for like a long period of time that gets him to stop doing it. I don't know how somebody can watch that and not think that this is one of the greatest Spider-Man movies. Like, I don't care that it looks like crap. I don't care that it... And again, this is my problem. Like, if I will gladly overlook anything. I don't care that the lizard does nothing. It does too many things better than I could have ever hoped for.
Yeah.
That it's really hard for me to hold anything against it. Like, I think I've said this a lot to other people, but I think as a movie, structure-wise, plot-wise, Homecoming is probably the best. Just in terms of an overall, how you write a movie. And No Way Home, I think, gets close to that, but there's certain things that I think could be polished. But for the most part, I think, like, it makes it so much more rewarding that we've been through these other two Tom Holland movies where he's just this kid and doesn't... Yes, there's stakes, but it's not this. There's no real, like... And yeah, he loses Tony, but it's like, were they really that close? Like that doesn't feel... Like, even when Tony dies in Endgame, and Tom's, like, upset about that. Like, yeah, it's sad, but it again, I don't think it has anything on Aunt May. I think part of that is Tom Holland just getting better at being an actor, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I think it's just a way better scene. I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. What are maybe your other negatives or anything that I didn't touch on?
Okay. I don't like how this movie started the downward spiral of, like, Doctor Strange being regressed as a character. He used to be the guy. He could fight eldritch beings. He fought Thanos, and then now he's humiliated by guy with math,
Geometry.
child, another child, in his own solo movie, woman.
Right. I do think that he is definitely dumbed down. I think there is something interesting about, in general, Doctor Strange's arrogance, similar to in the way of, like, people always compare Doctor Strange to, like, a Tony Stark in terms of his, like, sort of cockiness and that sort of thing. So, like, him being outsmarted by some geometry thing, it's fun enough. Like, it's does it really make sense that Peter even wins? I mean, Doctor Strange should be whooping him, like, technically. From, like, a power scaling point of view. But I don't know. That kind of stuff is like, I'm watching a Spider-Man movie, though. Get Doctor Strange out. Like, he doesn't even need to be in the rest of this movie.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. I think the way he's, like, written out in that way, and then the way he comes back, I mean, he's just... I think he's, like...
And also, like, I think my biggest problem with this movie is, like, it's not even really with the movie, it's things surrounding the movie, which is, like, I don't like how it kind of normalized the whole, like, everything being rushed out the door. This movie really needed more time. Like, to look better, to, like, for the story to get ironed out, for, like, for the highs to hit higher. Because yes, No Way Home has the highest highs, but it's also the start of something, like, much worse when it comes to, like, the industry, when it comes to the MCU. Because, like, production and post-production, I know about this. It was, like, less than a year for a blockbuster of this scale.
Well, yeah, so I'm trying to remember the timeline of it, because I know that, like, they started principal photography in November of 2020.
What is it?
And then, like, 3 months go by. So they started in November of 2020.
Okay.
And then Toby and Andrew filmed their scenes in February of 2021.
Right.
That I know for sure. And they filmed that for, like, 2 weeks. And then... Which is kind of crazy to me. I mean, I guess there's not that much to film with them literally on set, because a lot of it's just them in the suits or whatever else.
Right.
And, like, Toby's is entirely CG. There's a couple parts where Andrew's, I know, is practical. But it's pretty rare. But, okay, so that's in February. And then, like, because I'm just trying to think of the timeline of this. They must have not finished till, like, mean, I would guess it would have taken to like April, um,
Right.
just to finish production, and then
The movie comes out in December of 2021.
December.
7
Well, and
months
it's
for
funny too.
post-production.
I've seen so many breakdowns with like VFX artists and all that sort of stuff for this movie. And even in one of the videos, the main VFX supervisor was like, "Oh, I wish we would have made it so that the like leaves blow away on the bridge or it's something really small." And he's
Right.
like, "But we didn't have time." And it's like, why? Like, if you thought it would be better, like, it's just so annoying that like I would have been crushed at the time if this movie was delayed, just selfishly.
Mm.
But I know that if that would have meant that it's a better thing, like, you
Yeah.
know, great. But yeah, the sort of pipeline with the MCU and even yeah, I mean it's mostly an MCU thing where like VFX, it's like, oh, we gotta. I don't think it necessarily started with this movie because I think of like Black Panther where it's like they did not have that scene done, that like one of those fights until like
Right.
6 weeks before the movie was out or something like that, and that's why it looks terrible.
No,
But
that was an outlier.
yeah, it's yeah, because like yeah, No Way Home definitely it was just like, oh, we're supposed to put out a Spider-Man movie. We need to put this
Right.
out, and they knew that it was gonna be. They obviously knew it was gonna be some massive thing or whatever. But like, even the fact that they had to film in the way that they did in terms of COVID and all of that,
Right.
like, I kind of wish they just waited. Like,
Yeah, no,
and
like
just
I because I do feel bad for the filmmakers and like, everyone involved with like the technical aspects of the film. Because again, the story is good, the characters are good, everyone is on point, the direction's on good. It's just the fact that like there's a lot of things out of their control that could like that really hindered this movie. And also, they did not have time to iron up those issues out. And then like, fast forward
yeah,
a
I
few
mean,
years later, like I remember like there was an interview on like Thor Love and Thunder where Taika was just roasting the VFX.
yeah.
And I'm like, dude, why would you do that? Like, poor guy.
Yeah. Well, and he also made a garbage movie, but that's
Yeah.
Uh, that is a terrible movie. Man, it's terrible. Yeah, and he's like, oh, that doesn't look real or whatever. And it's like, oh my gosh, like it's never a skill issue. It's a time issue where it's
Right.
like these people know exactly what they need to do to make it look perfect and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, I'm sure this movie was the same as all these other movies where it's like, 2 weeks before it's out or maybe even a week before they're just now finishing it. Like that's always how it is.
Yeah, I think I heard a
Um,
rumor that like I think post-production on Brand New Day finished literally 2 days ago.
That wouldn't surprise me. They kind of, yeah, it seems to be the way they function. That's like how, as a band, we used to function.
Ah. No, but you see,
Where
you're
it
a
was,
band with 4 people. That's a big multi-billion-dollar company. You're not the same guys.
right, exactly. It's a good point. I think the more that I've rewatched it, and I've rewatched it plenty of times,
Right.
you can feel that it was filmed in a bubble. It feels
Right.
like that. There's just something like sort of, you can't even really put it into words necessarily. It just feels a little bit that way. And it's hard for me to not imagine what it could have been otherwise. And clearly, I don't care because I think it's a masterpiece.
Right. No,
So
no,
it's a
obviously,
little
like, no,
contradictory.
I do like it, like, a lot. Like, No Way Home is really good. But I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of things about it, the way it was made, and, like, how it looks now, 5 years later, once you step out of that, like, nostalgia bubble. It's just, there's a lot of things that, I don't know, I just wish they did differently. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I could never be persuaded, but I can understand that. Like, it's not like I'm think that every scene, like especially visually, I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing. When I see an Odyssey or something like that, it's like this is a movie. Like this,
Right.
like it's just not the same kind of thing. And that's why I'm excited about Black Panther 3 being shot on film. Like it's just like I think they are learning their lessons, and even from like a not to get too technical, but like as soon as I saw the Brand New Day trailer, I'm like, oh my gosh, they figured out color grading. Like I've had such an issue with Marvel over the years of just everything's gray
Right.
and really low
Look at Doomsday.
contrast. Like, wait, well, I think Doomsday. Well, actually, I think Doomsday's like the initial teasers that they put out, like the first one with Thor and all that sort of stuff. I actually think the colors are a little better, but I think Brand New Day, especially like when I saw that trailer, I was like, oh my gosh, this does not look like a. Everything always has like a MC. Usually, everything is just like a flat look. Even the stuff that is supposed to be more colorful, like a Guardians of the Galaxy. I've watched so many videos on like how that could be improved. Like it's pretty everything's pretty washed out and like all pretty neutral, and so I think they are learning their lessons, or maybe it's just a director by director
Could
thing.
be. Yeah, but you could also say that, okay, but like compare Guardians 3 specifically with Superman. Same director.
Yeah, true. I also think Superman could have benefited from being even more
Colorful.
colorful, but that's besides the point. I saw a video the other day where they did a
Yeah,
comparison.
yeah.
I'm like,
I think I saw the same thing, right?
yeah, and I was like, oh, dang, this looks way better. But yeah, like I do think the MCU has a habit of just everything looking kind of drab. How many times do you think you've seen No Way Home?
2 in theaters, 2 at home, like when it came out, like freshly, and then one, 5.
Yeah.
Like once just now in preparation for this.
That's crazy. Wow, that's crazy. It's like I had seen it 5 times within the first 2 weeks.
I see.
I mean, there was a while where I would watch it like probably once a month, and I never. I think maybe there's occasionally sometimes in like the first act where I'm just excited for it to get going because I know it so
Right.
well, and I genuinely could just do. I could do the whole movie right now. It just quoted to you for 2.5 hours. So because I know what's coming and I know every single little, oh, this shot's coming in this thing. Oh, it's gonna cut
Right.
to this person. Like I know it so well now that it's like not even a movie to me anymore. It's like I've had a decent amount of separation from it before Brand New Day.
Right.
And I was actually gonna rewatch all of these movies before this, but I did not have time, so I still have to do that before Wednesday. I still have to do that before Wednesday. And so I'm like just as excited to rewatch it. Like, and I'm kind of annoyed that I'm gonna have to sit through Far From Home. Like, I really don't even know if I'm excited.
Just put the
to watch
first half on like 2 times speed or something.
That's crazy. No, I can't do that. I literally actually can't do that. I feel like morally wrong.
Like-
one thing I'll say as
Right.
as a definite negative to No Way Home that is not relevant to the actual movie itself. I don't know if you ever saw the extended version.
I think so.
It adds about 11 minutes, and it's bad. Like I actually think there's so much stuff that I'm glad they cut out.
I mean,
Bad is a stretch. They make it so that like Doc Ock doesn't come in probably till like 40 minutes in because there's a lot more high school stuff. So there's like these interviews with the students, and it feels very homecoming in a way. But there's just some stuff. There's some lines in there that are rough. There is a slightly extended like Toby and Andrew scene that I think is fun. There's another Matt Murdock scene with Happy that is fine. I mean, it doesn't do anything, so I see why they cut it. But for the most part, I'm just like, the movie did not need that extra 10 minutes, so I'm grateful for that. And anybody that ever begs for like an extended... I saw an interview with Destin Daniel Cretton the other day that like the initial cut that they had of Brand New Day was close to 3 hours.
right.
And they trimmed it down to like 2.5, which is incredibly normal. And people are like, they need to release the 3-hour version. I'm like, no, they don't. Like, that's not how movies work. And I'm sure Doomsday is going to be 3 hours and all that.
Right.
I mean, it kind of has to be. They got a lot to do.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is... I feel like we've talked a lot about No Way Home. I've talked a lot about No Way Home, especially.
Okay, like, but I do have things to say about like, you know, like there are some moments where like you could tell that like the team behind them really wanted to make something good. I think the thing that stands out to me the most, other than like the big moments of like, you know, Andrew crying when he catches MJ, is like that's honestly one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Like the small things is like, oh, when Doc Ock says should have killed your girlfriend, and then that's when Tom locks in. He's like, what did you say?
Yeah. And also for him to be referencing the other MJ,
Right.
and the whole time he's thinking that's Toby, I think that's just really smart writing. And again, if you haven't literally just seen Spider-Man 2, and you've seen that he was attacking MJ, and it was the power of the sun in the palm of my hands, like that means almost nothing to you almost. And that's fine because you can, which is funny to me. Like I don't think of it as like a major... It honestly feels weird for me to watch Spider-Man 2 knowing I'm like, oh, you're just gonna come back and like whatever. And like I can suspend my disbelief enough to be like, yeah, he doesn't really look the same, but like they did their de-aging thing and it's fine. Like it's fine. Like it works for me. And like Norman to me feels, because to me it matters more about the performance. Like I think that Doc Ock feels straight pulled out of, especially when he's cured, feels straight out of Spider-Man 2. Like I love that when he sees Toby after he's cured, and they say that they do a similar sort of exchange to how they do it in Spider-Man 2. They say in one of the like extended version scenes, Toby and Andrew say, they literally say it out loud. Andrew's like, oh, all the things I would have done differently. And Toby's like, to have a second chance. I'm glad they cut that because it's like, it's so on the nose. It's like, you don't need to say that to know that that's what this is. But yeah, sorry, I interrupted you when you were going through other little things. I don't know if you had other things.
No, like there's a lot. Like again, like what you mentioned, the ending conversation with like Doc Ock and Peter, that's sweet. Having them also discuss like their own personal lives and like their relationships is interesting as well. Like hearing that like the events of Spider-Man 3 kind of like it helped improve him and MJ, like Toby and MJ's relationship is nice. I'm still in shock that Zendaya is that good of an actor because again, I think it was during this time when she was shooting Euphoria. So like the switch between that and MJ is very fascinating.
Yeah. I think ever since this movie and Dune 2,
Right.
and I don't know if you saw the drama.
I do want to watch it at some point.
Like, she is so good. Like, she is so much better than I ever would have given her credit for in, like, Homecoming. I mean, Homecoming, she just has to say a couple lines. Far From Home, it's fine. Like, it's not... I don't think there's anything bad about it. But I think this, she really... Yeah.
Right.
It, like,
oh, yeah.
levels up.
But, yeah, speaking of MJ, I just realized another issue I had. I don't like the fact that,
Oh,
like...
boy.
Huh? You get?
I was just saying, I'm preparing for the fact that I...
No. I don't like the fact that MJ is essentially, like... There's a lot of scenes after every big, like, set piece or decision that he makes is he constantly has a check-in with MJ being like, oh, I hope you're okay. Then MJ's like, no, it's okay, you're doing good. It's like, shut up, guys! Oh my god. Like, when, like...
What? I think it's...
No, it reminds me of CW Flash, right?
Oh gosh, that's such a bad comparison.
Pre No Way Home Spider-Man, he didn't have to do this with anyone. But now, he's such a, like, why does he check in with his girl? Dude, I get it, you're in love, but like, can you just, like, take some accountability?
Okay, so you're telling me if you're, like, in a fight with the Sandman and Electro and whatever else, and you're not gonna call your girlfriend and, like, after you've been disconnected and the you got struck by lightning or whatever, you're not gonna
see her in the thing. You're gonna see her in the, like, in Stranger's Lair. What do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
but she doesn't know that. Like, she doesn't, like, give me any other example where he says that. Like, where he checks in with her.
Like, I think he does the checking in post the spell twice. Once when they enter the Sanctorum, there's a moment where, like, he kind of talks to MJ being like, oh yeah, like, there was a spell? Oh, you did the spell? Yeah, no, but it's for you. Oh, it's okay, no worries about it. Then they do it again in the basement of like, yeah, maybe talk to us about it next time. Got it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then it just cuts to Ned going like, dude, I don't care.
Yeah, he really doesn't care. He's chill about it.
And like, there's a lot of scenes where
see.
those guys just like, the declarations of love. And I get it. They're in love. They're cute. Tom Holland and Zendaya are good in this. But also, there's so much of that on a rewatch that it's just like, it kind of takes away from the stakes and like the tone it was going for, because every once in a while it just cuts to Peter and MJ being cute. It's a problem with CW Flash where like every once in a while you need a pep talk from your wife that like, oh, I'm not fast enough. No, Barry, we are the Flash.
I've never watched that show. I've just seen so many like out of context clips, and it's just so funny to me. Yeah, definitely not an issue I've ever thought of, or even I've never even heard anybody say that, to be honest with you. One thing that I think is a negative on rewatch is, and I've seen this many a times, is the fake out of Toby getting stabbed. Is completely pointless. I get that it's like the audience reaction of like, oh my gosh, are they gonna kill Toby, the OG or whatever? And then the way they have to sort of like, I think the problem with that is not just that alone, the fact that he stabs him. I have no problem with that. Goblin's crazy. He could stab him, whatever. But the problem is now Toby's laying on the ground and we're supposed to be emotionally invested in Tom curing the Goblin. But simultaneously, the audience is supposed to be thinking, is Toby dying? Even though he's not. But, like, that's a really weird beat to me, because it's like, originally the way they wrote it is, like, Venom was supposed to be in this, and then Peter was, like, Toby was supposed to be revived by the symbiote. Like, that's how it was supposed to be. But they just still kept him getting stabbed, and I was like, you could have just written that out. It doesn't do anything for the Goblin cure.
It's just the shock.
It makes it... Yeah. And so, like, every time I see that, I'm just like, oh, yeah. I do think it is funny that when he's looking up at the purple stuff or whatever, and he's like, "Is that
Am I
happening or am I
dying?
dying?" And Andrew's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, oh no, that's real, that's real." Like, I think that's funny enough, but like, and when he's standing with Andrew and he's like,
You're in so much
I forget
pain,
what he
aren't you?
says, but he's like, "How you're in so much pain right now," and he's like, "Yeah." Like, that's funny to me. Yeah, I don't know. It is a weird beat that, like,
No,
especially on rewatch, it
you
just
know,
doesn't.
you are right. Like, I honestly thought like that does get me every once in a while. Like the whole like the shock value of the stab. But like I didn't know people were gonna think that he was gonna die. I never thought he was gonna die.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, like,
No, was that the general audience's like vibe back then?
no, that definitely was. Yeah, that definitely
Oh.
was. Like, people were just like, "Oh my god." They would never do that.
Right. But also,
I mean,
we did not know how good we had it. May I introduce you to Steve's fake out death from Stranger Things finale?
cut to black.
The reverb Steve!
Oh man, it's honestly a shame that the more distance I've had from the Stranger Things finale, I'm like, I ain't ever watching that again. But
Yeah, which sucks.
yeah. I think I'd watch the second half of the finale. But that whole
Okay.
first half's pretty in line with like the rest.
I just
of the
rewatched Stranger
season.
Things 1, like just the first season.
That is just peak,
Mhm.
though. Like that is just okay. That's besides the point.
Right.
Anything else on No Way Home? Because I want to ask a few questions about Brand New Day.
Toby, Andrew, and Tom like just chatting on the thing is honestly like that is what you can do when you have like when you know what's the word? Because like I seen an interview from like Andrew recently that said that like, oh, that entire scene was just improvisation. They had bullet points to go off of. Right?
Yeah.
And compare it to another movie which prides itself on its improvisation, the Taika movies, and like you can tell like it's night and day when it comes to like the quality of those improvisations. Where it's just like
Well, and I think someone like Andrew understands the character so well.
right.
And I think all three of them do to some extent. I think Toby's probably the least. I've
He
always
doesn't
got the
care.
feeling that he just is the least like he's there, he's Spider-Man, whatever, but he doesn't. I don't think he's ever been as like emotionally invested in the character as Tom
Right.
Warren. Yeah, sorry, say what you were saying. I didn't know if you had more on that.
You know, compare the like the way that they talk about like, oh, what are the coolest things we've done and etc. and etc. And this and like
Yeah.
the thing of Toby telling like Andrew that like, dude, can we like stop with the self talk? You're good.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
amazing.
That got an eye roll out of me, but like on retros, like, you know, on a rewatch, it is sweet because again, like people considered the Andrew duology as like mid to bad movies,
Yeah.
and also it came
Yeah.
out during. Sorry, you first.
I also think that Andrew plays a really good middle child almost.
Mm-mm.
Like where he's like seeking the validation of his older brother almost and wants to be cool for like he literally says like I always wanted brothers and he's the one who says I love you guys. Like he has to be the one to do that. It wouldn't work otherwise. Yeah, he's just so good on the movie. I would have been just as happy, honestly, of anybody to get another Spider-Man movie. I don't need a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey at all. Andrew getting another Spider-Man movie, I would have had no problem with that. They're not going to ever do that, but I still feel bad that he got the short end of the stick. Obviously, we've kind of rewritten history with this movie.
Right.
Like it just sort of finally all of a sudden everybody's like Andrew's great. It's like okay, well just took a minute, but
No, I actually no. I think Andrew has never been the issue with the Spider-Man, like with his duology. It's always like because how do you justify Andrew's performance with Peter? I need your blood.
that's a good point. Yeah, like what are you supposed to yeah, like I mean it definitely has to do with like what you're given because like you can't make that good. You literally can't. Even his whole thing with Harry. Oh gosh, that's such a stupid.
You're a
plot.
fraud, Spider-Man.
That's really when the movie like completely loses me. Yeah, that's besides the point. Like I'm also not looking forward to. I'm not just rewatching the Tom Holland ones. I'm rewatching in the
All
next
of
4 days. I'm watching every Toby Andrew. So
okay.
I have to do a lot for the next 2 days. Anything else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I love or don't like or anything like that. I think I hit most of my points.
Oh yeah, like some of the dialogue with like specifically the Raimi, actually no, all of the villains. I do think you could cut down half of the villains. Like you don't need Lizard there. Why is he there? Right? Like it feels like they wanted to just do a Sinister Six, but
they got 5.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Venom technically had post-credit scene, but he was
No
in
one cares.
Mexico or something. Yeah, exactly. Post-credit scene also is pretty lame.
The two of
I
them.
like it as a way. Yeah, I mean, I like it as a way to leave the symbiote. Like, that's kind of interesting to me.
Watch them not
If
do
they're
anything
ever
with
going
it,
to
by
do
the way.
something with that. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Like, what does that even mean? Because, like, the way that Brand New Day is shaping up and the way that, like, based on the trailers, like, Tom is getting more aggressive because of the mutation and all this sort of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like, it seems like they're already kind of doing what would have been
The symbiote.
a symbiote thing. So, I don't know. I'd find it more interesting, personally, if they use the symbiote on Matt Gargan's Scorpion and make him Venom. Because that happens a lot. That's more interesting to me. But I don't even want to see Venom. I don't like... We've had enough of that, I think. Like, I don't even want to... Like, even in the Spider-Man 2 video game, I don't know if you played that, but I just did not like Harry as Venom.
Oh, the Insomniac one?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's... it's very nothing.
But yeah, my main question for you as far as Brand New Day is concerned... Well, first I'll ask this. Do you like No Way Home or Homecoming more?
Homecoming. No question.
Oh, really?
Homecoming.
Really?
I'm a fan of, like, smaller scope.
Let me ask this then.
Okay.
Like, if No Way Home was shot differently and looked different and all that sort of stuff, do you think that would be enough to take it over the edge for you? Or you think there's too many, like, plot contrivances and all that sort of stuff for you to not still put it above Homecoming?
Okay. No Way Home, to me, it feels like it's a less egregious key jingling than Deadpool and Wolverine. I will agree. But it also relies...
I would say way less.
Yeah, it's way less. But it also relies on your knowledge of previous Spider-Man movies to function. Homecoming, like you said, you can watch this as a standalone movie, and everything that you need to know is contained within that movie.
Yeah.
Like,
it's also interesting...
Yeah, you first?
Go ahead. No, I'm gonna go on a tangent. I can promise.
Okay, no. Like, other things that No Way Home does better, yeah, of course. Like, the villains are better, like, Tom's performance is better, the story is a little bit more, like, impactful, but also No Way Home does not have anything as good as the meeting with Peter and Michael Keaton Vulture. So
you really think so? You don't think there's a scene in No Way Home that's better than
I think it's better on like it's better executed, but I think the bones of like
you don't
like
think
that,
all three people talking to each other is a better scene than Vulture and him in the car?
It's cute, but that's all I'm gonna say.
Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, yeah, maybe it's hard for me to shake my
bias,
like what it means for like the franchise as a whole, not even just Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Like, I think maybe it's just impossible to remove that because, like I said, I do think that Homecoming is just as a movie. I feel like if I'm going to recommend a Spider-Man movie to somebody,
No Way Home,
that doesn't care about Spider-Man or something like that, like, it's not No Way Home. If anything, that's like the last thing I need to show them because Homecoming. They're going to be so confused. Whereas if I show them Homecoming, I'm like, you're just going to like it. It's a good movie. Like, you don't even have to like superhero things. I really do think that. Whereas No Way Home, if you are not A, like an MCU person, or B, you're not... Like, I remember I saw the movie in theaters with my mom. This was probably like my 4th time seeing it. And she just wanted to see what all the fuss was about. And she had only ever seen the first 2 Tobey movies. Or first 3. Yeah, she saw all the 3 Tobey movies. But it had been years and years. And so we were watching the movie. And I used to do so much before we even got there. Like, tell her so many things. And that would be weird. I mean, she's already joining in on a 3rd movie of a trilogy. But most of what I was explaining was like previous... It had nothing to do with Tom Holland. Like, it, I had to explain Andrew's character and Gwen and all this sort of stuff. So when Andrew catches her or whatever, catches MJ, it's like, that doesn't mean anything to anybody if they haven't seen the animated Spider-Man 2. So it is interesting. I remember my mom, like, Aunt May was dying. And my mom's like, so when is Toby showing up? And it's like, come on. Like, yeah, it's a shame.
But again, like,
I also think... I also think one thing that's interesting about No Way Home is that it really does abandon a lot of the coming of age high school thing. I think Far From Home and Homecoming feel very much like this was intended to be Jon Watts' thing. And then all of a sudden he was thrust into, like, not only are you directing, the 3rd Spider-Man movie that happens to be the biggest, but also you're gonna have to make 20 years worth of history work together, and like
Right.
that's not. There's no way that's what he originally thought the third movie was going to be. It just happened to work out that A, it's the multiverse saga. B, people love Spider-Verse stuff, and so it was like kind of a no-brainer. But
Oh
like,
yeah, right, yeah. They're
there's a-
still doing the Kang stuff then, right, okay.
yeah, because like Loki had come out and all this. So like, yeah, it just had to be. As soon as Electro got announced, it was just sort of obvious. Okay, he's coming from another universe. Oh, Doctor Strange is in it. He has magic and blah blah blah. Like it was, everybody already then was like Toby and Andrew are in. Because why would you? I mean, Electro. You're gonna bring Electro and not everybody else.
Right.
Like, and I think what really sealed it was Doc Ock coming back. Then it was like, okay, we very clearly do what you do. Say what you were gonna say first, and then I'll go to my parting thing.
Sure. It is difficult because, like, again, especially on this rewatch, there's a lot of things I respect a lot more about, like, that I found, like, I found a lot more interesting about Homecoming as I do with, like, No Way Home, right? Like, the villain of Homecoming is just, he's oddly a very, like, pro-blue collar workers, very, like, anti-capitalist, and I didn't expect that out of a Disney movie, no less. No Way Home, the villains there, they work on accounts of aura.
Right,
Goblin is good because Dafoe knows how to aura farm the hell out of his scenes. But
right.
Keaton does not need to do that. He has a, like, you know, he does that like once or twice. But I think the way that everything with him and the movie that he was attached to was directed is like, it stands out a lot more for me. Again, I don't need big flashy set pieces for like a movie or a show to be good. Stranger Things 1, no big flashy set pieces. It's one of the best things that the show is it's one of the best things on Netflix, right?
Oh yeah, I think Stranger Things 1 is one of the best things created.
And
human
the fact that it's like super intimate and like the story is very closed off. You don't need to know anything about the MCU or like your previous history. You don't need to do any homework. It's nicer.
That leads me to the perfect segue to my question, because I think that Brand New Day in its marketing has been very intentional of like, this is back to basics. Like,
right.
Like course correcting the sort of like, I think everybody's biggest fear after No Way Home, there were so many rumors about what a Spider-Man 4 would be. We're like, are they going to undo? The one thing we didn't talk about No Way Home is just the ending of like, you know, the spell erasing Ned and MJ's memory. I think the ending is very reminiscent to like the open. It always reminds me of the opening of the Insomniac game, of like him just listening to the police scanner, and he goes out with this like classic red and blue, and like it's very clear that by the end of this movie, he is Spider-Man, the definitive thing that everybody. There's no fancy suits, whatever else. So I'm just curious from your perspective with the way Brand New Day is being pitched, because there are these grander things. There's the Hulk, and there's Jean Grey, probably. There's the Punisher, and all that sort of stuff. But I think that it's still very clearly going to be, and we don't know this yet, but I think first and foremost, it's a Peter character study. Right. I will be shocked if that's not what the movie is, based on the way that they're pitching it. And just even in terms of the way they're filming it and the way that visually it looks and all that sort of stuff, it feels very much like we listened to everything everybody was mad about. Because like Tom Holland will even say that like in recent interviews, he's like, oh yeah, like I would go spend hours and hours online and just figure out what people wanted. Like, what did they like about the suit? He'll, you know, it's very purposely referencing Toby and Andrew, like him learning from them. They'll use that term street level, that sort of thing, rather than it being some grand thing. So I just want to know, going into Brand New Day, how do you feel about where they're at right now, just in terms of how they've pushed it so far?
Before I answer that question, like a bit of thing. The only supplementary material that I had from No Way Home is the screenplay. I still have the screenplay on like my hard drive sitting somewhere. That like I remember what you said, that like that final swing. I remember the line was like, "Oh, Peter Parker is like no more, but Spider-Man still lives on."
Yeah.
Right. I do like that's how it ends, and I like that Brand New Day kind of serves as a soft reboot because there is very little connection to him and the Avengers anymore. Right?
Yeah. Like I personally.
You first?
I would love to not. I mean, I would love him in Doomsday just because please save it. But also, I really don't want him in there because it just feels like, what's the point then of like doing
this is way above his pay grade.
This whole thing or whatever. Yeah. Like that just feels to me like we're just going back to him being like way too connected in a way.
Right. And also I have seen, like, I remember the interviews that came out like before Brand New Day was even announced, that the fact that, like, oh, one, if I ever wanted to, like, if I'm making a Spider-Man movie in my 30s, something's up. And like he wanted to he did wanted to like do something similar to like Insomniac Spider-Man 2, where he mentors a Miles Morales kind of character, let him do the thing. And then Brand New Day came out. It's clear that him and Destin are really passionate and like protective about the Spider-Man character.
Yeah, yeah. And I do think that if I had to just predict, I would say that Tom Holland's trilogy will end with mentoring Miles. I think, and then he's done.
Right.
I think there's going to be another trilogy. I think Brand New Day, a movie, and then a third one could be like him and Miles together. That would make a lot of money.
Right.
Every Spider-Man movie is going to make a lot of money, to be honest.
Also, Beyond the Spider-Verse will have ended. It's coming out next year, if I'm not wrong, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So like you have an empty candy market for Miles.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my prediction would be that like by 2028, 2029, we have the second of the, it would be Tom Holland's fifth movie, and I do think they'll play it kind of like the games, where like Miles is first introduced, but not as Spider-Man first, and then because they already have Donald Glover, and I think it would be great to see him as like Uncle Aaron and that sort of thing.
Right.
So it already feels like it could work. And like the fact that they're bringing back Scorpion after Homecoming, I never thought that we'd ever have any payoff to that. Like when No Way Home, like when I knew obviously Scorpion wasn't going to be in that, I was like, there's no shot that's ever going anywhere. Because there's a great habit of Marvel post-credits is not going anywhere. Or if they do go somewhere, it's like an Incredible Hulk thing, and then for some godforsaken reason it comes back like almost 20 years later in a Captain America movie. But this was and that wasn't even a post-credit. Like what? Okay, never mind. I won't harp on that. But and I like Brave New World more than most people, and I don't even know why I like it. I don't even think it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's whatever. But I do think just in terms of how they're presenting this movie and how much I do think Tom Holland is protective over this character and like is very clearly listening to what people want. Like everything feels very in line with what I would have wanted. So we'll see. Like I think this very well, just based on what I'm hearing and all this sort of stuff, Brand New Day could probably be his best Spider-Man movie. Even just visually, I think that's already kind of on lock.
Yeah, like I think that's what
already.
That's what people are trying to say, that like, oh, this movie looks miles better than what anything that like the Jon Watts trilogy had, and which further kind of like saddens me, because again, it's not his fault that the movies look like that.
I know. I feel weird about it too, because like I've mostly sung praises of these movies. Like I think Tom Holland, for the most part, has a very, very strong trilogy. Far From Home is fine, but it's not bad. Like it's not like a terrible stain in the trilogy or something like that. And again, I think Jon Watts was so intentional about what they wanted, and I didn't even realize until a couple weeks ago there was an interview with Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal, and they were saying that like before they started Homecoming, they said to Jon Watts, "We don't want any swinging in Manhattan. We don't want any like." Anything that's been done before, where like traditional Spider-Man stuff or anything like that. And so like he wasn't like, he was doing exactly the kind of movie that he was supposed to be making, and like I think it's a bit unfair to pin it all on just like, oh yeah, Jon Watts, like he had no idea what he was doing or whatever. Because I do think there's some like genuinely inventive stuff. Like I personally love the look of like in No Way Home and at the end of Far From Home, the shot of like Peter swinging with MJ through the city, and it's just their reactions and that sort of thing. Like I think that stuff is just a cool thing to do, and I think there's actually plenty of shots in No Way Home that especially are like pretty. I already mentioned like the Spidey sense thing. Like I think that's better than anything that Sam Raimi did with Spidey sense.
Right.
Like, is that a hot take? I mean, is there a single?
I mean, okay, what was Sam Raimi's signal for the Spidey sense? Oh, it was just a dolly zoom, right? It was a dolly zoom.
I mean, it was like yeah, and like, and then it would just, yeah, I guess it is kind of cool in Spider-Man 2 when like the truck is like, or the car is like flipping through the window.
Right. No, but then again, it's just a dolly zoom. But also, Raimi is not a superhero director, a superhero movie director. He's a horror movie director.
Right. But I think Jon Watts, just in terms of even like building tension in that specific scene, it goes beyond even just like the visual of it, the like sound design of everything being muted out, or like sort of this low rumble of things.
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like he never got enough credit, and now that Destin Daniel Cretton's on board, people are even more like,
Yeah.
Jon Watts ruined Spider-Man. All this sort of stuff. Like, gosh dang, what did like? My God, this is I don't remember it being that extreme. Like I remember there being people that complained about visuals and all this sort of stuff, but like I don't think it's
His fault.
I again don't I don't think it's his fault. B, I still don't think it's competition. That I do think Brand New Day just looks better.
Right.
And I think part of that is even just Marvel course correcting, not even just because I think Thunderbolts even is a good looking movie. I think Fantastic Four is a pretty good looking movie, especially in terms of like set design and not everything is great, but I mean, especially the CG baby. In general, I feel like the MCU is learning.
So they CGI'd the baby, but they couldn't CGI the thing for more than 15 minutes? Okay, that's insane.
The Thing did get pretty sidelined. I think it's very interesting because this is sort of separate from the Spider-Man trilogy conversation. But I don't know if you even know that Thunderbolts is a top 3 MCU movie for me.
Good. That's really good, actually.
So when anybody says like, oh my gosh, like still they'll say like, oh, the MCU is so bad or whatever else. Like the fact that my 2 favorite movies are from
the MCU,
post Endgame, post pandemic, all that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know. I think that means something. But and yet it's so funny that Doomsday I'm so scared because I don't know. I prefer these. The reason I love Thunderbolts is the same reason I love like really any of these movies is that it's like character based first.
Right.
Like I love Yelena's character in that. I like Bob's character. I think like Sentry and all that as a villain.
It also helps that the marketing for Thunderbolts were targeting people like you and me. Like the pretentious
100%,
film
100%.
nerds.
Yes, the sort of like A24, like the whole, that whole thing. Like, and again, I think that movie looks better. A lot more of it is practical. Like, it feels very intentional. And I think a lot of times these Marvel movies feel not that intentional. Like, they just sort of went in with like, oh, we'll just fix it in post. Like, that's what it feels like a lot of times. I'm like, oh, just change the background later. He'll be fighting someone. Or like, they could tell some character, oh, you can fight with this person and we'll just mash it together afterwards. Like,
I also remember that, like, I think the integrated suit TM, according to what Insomniac says, like the Far From Home suit with the Iron Spider logo, that was entirely CGI apparently.
Yeah, like everything from the neck down. Is CG. And like I think that's pretty insane because it looks pretty good to me. Like, to me, it doesn't look like his head's floating on something or whatever else. I do think you miss a little bit of because I've seen like a side-by-side of like the initial shot where he's wearing the Far From Home suit and the integrated one. You miss definitely like the realness of wrinkles and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy to me that they like had decided on that design after the fact.
Correct.
And they're like, it's things like that is like crazy to me. That it's like, I also personally kind of wish that like, I understand the importance of like after Toby and Andrew are gone, he has the red and blue suit. I do think it'd be kind of like visually nice to have him cut the integrated suit and have the Far From Home suit be damaged after his battle with the Goblin, and then have him make a red and blue suit so that all 3 of them are wearing classic looks. I would have preferred that. Like, I think it would just it matches better. But I also understand like plot wise, and they got to sell toys. They just got to do the I actually like the integrated suit. Like, I like the gold spider, but most people
that is my default costume when it comes like when I'm replaying Insomniac's games.
Oh, really?
It's either that or the Far From Home suit, because I like the red and black.
Yeah, the Far From Home one really works for me. Like, that I think is way better than the Homecoming suit, personally.
Also, because the Iron Spider suit, like I don't know how I felt in like Endgame about Infinity War about it, but like it works because nothing around him is super reflective. But when you're playing it in a video game, ray tracing exists.
It's just so not. Yeah, I know exactly. I never wear that suit because it's just so. It's like hard to look at.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fun plot thing too in No Way Home that like Norman, as a gift to him, almost like gives him back the nanotech or whatever. And it doesn't. That's what I meant. Wow, is that really what I said? Did I say Norman? That's crazy. Yeah, like when Doc Ock gives that back to him after the cure, like I think that is a fun enough thing, and like I think the back gold spider looks especially cool. So you agree that Tom Holland's best suit before Brand New Day, because you probably agree Brand New Day is best.
Brand New Days, yeah. It looks because it's a physical suit.
Yes, exactly. Like honestly, the difference is pretty uncanny.
Yeah. Like that was one of the biggest things with like the marketing of Ironheart that I really liked. The fact that like we are getting a physical suit again. Like an Iron Man suit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because even in like Civil War, that looks pretty janky. Like with when Tony is like his head is just like pasted on, and then they have the whole CG suit or whatever. It mostly is not distracting. In Infinity War, though, I remember when Mark Ruffalo is in the like Hulkbuster,
right.
and there's like this shot of him. I'm like, oh boy, that looks bad. But yeah, no, if I had to like rank Tom Holland's suits, Brand New Day is obviously 1, and then Far From Home is 2, and then Integrated is probably 3.
Right, yeah. The default red and blue suit from Homecoming isn't bad. It's just like
It's not, but there's too many lines.
right.
Like it's a little over, and I don't like the spider. Yeah, I don't care for the like small spider on the front. I know Far From Home has the same exact one, I think. So maybe
but it stands out. With
it does. Because the red also I think looks a little
darker shade.
Darker, yeah, in the Far. Yeah, I don't think the Stark suit, that's what I'll call it, is bad. I think the only like suit I don't like that Tom Holland had was the Night Monkey.
I was gonna say the
That's so pointless. Oh yeah, that's also completely pointless. It also makes literally no sense. Like there's like wires sticking out. It's like, so are you telling me that if that's inside out, then when he's wearing it, there's like it actually makes no
like
sense.
it chafes against like the paint is chafing against him.
Yeah, like when you think about it for more than like 2 seconds, it's like, and I also don't think it even looks cool enough to justify, like, because it's just really messy looking. It's literally in that one scene.
It's also shot at night. So, like, what are you going to see?
Yeah, and so it really doesn't pair well, because it's like this black and gold thing against Electro, who's got yellow lightning now. And then, like, it doesn't... Yeah, it's really a really odd choice. Like, and they cut the scene of him getting the paint thrown on him. Oh, no, I mean, it's still technically... They kept it in, but I mean, like, in the extended version, there's, like, a whole sequence of it. With his brother. Like Tom Holland's brother is in it, and he's like a bank robber, and then he like whatever. But it's still not enough to like justify. Yeah, I completely forgot about that suit. That's easily the bottom actually. Then the Stark suit.
The Night Monkey suits. I'm glad it gross. It gross. Like I don't like the flip up glasses, but
yeah, I actually like it in terms of like anytime in the Insomniac games I had like a stealth mission. I thought it was kind of fun to use that. But it doesn't even really make sense. I mean, like, why does he have fingerless gloves? Like, if this is supposed to be like a stealth, like, why could you like that's so the opposite of that? But whatever. And then Iron Spider, I've never been like, I think it works for Infinity War and Endgame. I didn't ever. Yeah, like it doesn't.
It is sad that we're never gonna get like the classic red and gold Iron Spider suit as per comics and like.
And I don't like that suit at all. I've never understood how people think that looks better than the MCU Iron Spider. I think the red and gold Iron Spider, this is probably one of my hottest takes. I actually think it's like an eyesore. Like, it's so, like, overwhelming to me.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, it looks like McDonald's or something.
I can actually see like, that being a Happy Meal toy. I can see that being a Happy Meal toy, actually.
Exactly. The Iron Spider, the MCU one, is like, it's definitely muted colors.
Right.
The red and the blue is like a navy.
But the small things that they have, like the lights on his arms, the web shooters, his eyes.
Yeah. I do like his eyes, especially. I also think it's fun in No Way Home. One other like small detail there's actually 2 small details I really like, which to me just shows like how intentional they were. It's like as soon as Peter takes over Ock's arms, they transform from red to white, like the actual light on them. And then obviously when he's cured, they go back to green. The same thing as in Spider-Man 2. And then also, I don't know if you know this from like the original Spider-Man movies, anytime that Norman is the Goblin, it's Willem Dafoe's actual teeth.
Right.
And then anytime he's Norman, he has like fake teeth in that look. Yeah. And that's so smart because like it's not they didn't need to carry that over. Like they didn't,
Right.
but I'm glad they did because it helps. a
They
little.
care.
But it is also kind of crazy that it's like, hey Willem, for the goblin, we'll use your real teeth. We'll use your messed up teeth. But
yes, anyway, brand new day.
yeah,
What are your questions?
I think I've already sort of made up my mind on it, to be honest, of the fact that I'm going to love it. I think the only concern I have is that it could get a little messy, just because it feels a little all over the place in terms of like, okay, he's fighting the Hand, and he's fighting the Hulk, and he's fighting Scorpion, and he's fighting these other like montage of villains or whatever else. So I think as long as they bring it back to the core of, and I think they will. Like I just have a gut feeling that like the way Tom Holland described it recently is like basically Peter not taking Andrew's advice. Because Andrew's Peter is like, I stopped pulling my punches.
Got rageful.
He sort of cut his heart off from being Peter. He's just Spider-Man and he's just doing it to do it and all this sort of stuff. And that's, Tom Holland's Peter is learning the wrong lesson because
Right.
he's thinking everybody's better off without me.
Uh-huh.
They don't need me. I'll just do my job and I'll be Spider-Man and that's whatever. Like, I think personally the way Brand New Day has to end, and people can fight me on it all they want, but the way it has to end is Pete or MJ and Ned have to remember it. He can't have an arc otherwise. And maybe that'll be controversial, but like,
Or at the very least, Frank needs to know.
I think everybody does. Because I think the whole point of like, maybe I don't know enough about this movie, but like, I think the whole point of this movie is like this sort of isolated loneliness and that like,
Yeah.
to be Spider-Man, he needs to worry about being Peter and having his friends around and all that sort of stuff. I think it has to end that way. I think I'd be shocked if it didn't. If they just could, because some people want them to just keep forgetting him for the whole trilogy. Like they're not writing Zendaya out of these movies. Like so many people are like, "Oh, Gwen can come in." No, I do not think that's going to happen. And I don't. I also think that would be really stupid because he would meet Gwen and he's going to be, "You're supposed to be dead." Or not. Like he can't. I honestly don't think the MCU can now ever get away with using a Norman Osborn or a Harry Osborn or whatever,
Right.
because he's going to be like, "Oh, in another universe, you were evil." Like you can't do that. I don't think. And so anybody that wants like, because so many people wanted like cut Ed and MJ completely, make him be friends with Harry and Gwen. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, I don't know. It's like,
I mean, there is a version of that. It's just called the animated Spider-Man show.
yeah, just go watch that. Like, I don't know. I find it funny that everybody just wants sort of a retread of
The earlier
go spend
films,
time.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen interviews like from Tom where like he mentions that like, oh, he's friends. The only friends he has is his like suit AI. People were taking that as a diss against AI chatbots and stuff, but like I saw it as a way that like this guy is genuinely like this isolated and alone that he doesn't really have anyone else to talk to. That is gonna mess him up mentally.
Oh yeah, like literally the only thing he has is like some robot, and like, yeah, I don't think it's a commentary thing. I think if anything, it's just like and I guess it could be interpreted that way of like people that are addicted to talking to AI or something. But I just mean, I think it's more so, yeah, the fact that like he literally has nothing, nobody, and everybody loves that. Everybody loves when Spider-Man's depressed as hell. Like that's what's so funny to me. They're like, "Oh, finally he's depressed." It's like, holy moly,
Yeah.
Because that's why I think Spider-Man 2 works so well, because it's like you like seeing him beat the odds of his whole life's falling apart. Like that's the whole reason why people, and yet he chooses to do that anyways. Yeah. I guess that's a question I have for you. Is Spider-Man 2 your favorite live action Spider-Man movie?
Spider-Man 2 is good. I think like no, there are some things about it. Like there are some things about it that I like a lot. But I honestly do think that it is a product of its time. I don't know. I think my favorite one is still either Homecoming or no, like all the way.
Really? You would have Tom Holland's. I mean, I have No Way Home as number 1 too. Or
right.
like in my case. But
because again, like Homecoming for the reasons I mentioned, No Way Home because like it is the reward for keeping up with this franchise for so long.
Right. Yeah.
But Spider-Man 2, it's good. It just feels like half the time Raimi really wants to direct Evil Dead instead.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like it goes hard. Like it's a good movie, but also I'm like, is it the best? We've gotten better.
Yeah, I don't know if I could say that I definitely don't think I'd say that Homecoming is better than Spider-Man 2. I think Spider-Man 2 is like the most obvious, like, this is a Spider-Man movie, this is a Spider-Man story. Like it's just and maybe the first Sam Raimi one too, but that one I have qualms with.
I was
I
gonna say
think
Amazing Spider-Man
in
1
particular
is up there, actually.
Amazing Spider-Man 1 is up there for me. I love that movie. And people talk so much trash, like, no, I think that movie's great. Like, I don't think Lizard is the most compelling villain. He's fine, I guess. But I think the reason I always really liked Andrew's first movie is because there's a scene when they're at the dinner table. He's at the dinner table with Gwen and his family. And her dad is saying how Spider-Man is not a hero. He just has a vendetta against people that, you know, he's just getting revenge and all that sort of stuff. And like at that point, still in the movie, you are not necessarily on Andrew's side.
Right.
Like he's not Spider-Man yet. And it's only once he goes to the bridge to originally fight the lizard, but then he saves the kid instead.
Mm.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm Spider-Man." It's like the movie takes a long time to get there. Like I think an hour and 15 minutes or something.
Right.
And I think that feels really well earned. And I think that and obviously Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, like
They're good.
that just works. Yeah. I think something Andrew always played really well is just the sort of like orphan feeling. Like not only did he lose his parents, which they spent a whole bunch of time on that, but then also just being with his aunt and uncle. Like he always felt like the most secluded and like closed off to me, and like depressed.
Yeah.
Like a loner type, even though he's like skateboarding around school.
The Amazing Spider-Man duology is just meant for the edgelord hipsters. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess I fit enough in that category.
Eh.
And the well, yeah, not really. I do think the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is looked back at too fondly because people are like they're like, oh, the suit's so good and the swinging is so good that they completely ignore the fact that Harry sucks, Electro kind of sucks. Like the entire movie is pretty bad. Like
Right.
there's like scenes that I think are actually great, but it's like, oh man, that movie's kind of tough to get through, to be honest. But that's all right. That's all right. Anything else on Brand New Day or anything? I've gone on many different tangents.
Oh, based on the way that you were talking about like Brand New Day and like its story progression, I kind of sense a familiarity with another MCU or like Marvel media that happened in the recent years. Daredevil season, Netflix's Daredevil.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Right, because the entire
Like
shtick of that is just
wow, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, like Matt Murdock is kind of like missing, but he's just Daredeviling it.
Yeah, like he's basically dead. Like I mean,
Right.
Foggy and Karen assume he's dead in
Right.
like the whole first half of that season. And he's like again completely cut himself off from that just so he can just be Daredevil and that's it and that's whatever. And he's even like sacrificing his morals and thinking the whole season that he's gonna kill Kingpin.
Right.
Which again I think could come into play here of just like I think the mutating stuff sounds really fun. Like the idea of Tom like literally getting organic webs and stuff like that. Like that seems like a progression to me. But yeah, that's a really good I did not even think about that. And it's funny because Daredevil has like such, I think, repetitive arcs.
Right. Yeah.
Because like Born Again starts and then like he doesn't want to be Daredevil and he just wants to be Matt and then he wants to be Daredevil again. And then like in season 2 of Born Again, he's like we barely see Matt Murdock. I mean, like he's pretty much Daredevil the entire. That's a whole other conversation. But like I love Born Again personally. I don't remember if you liked it or not.
Oh no, I'm
season-
doing a video essay on Daredevil as we're recording this actually.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Good. I am a bit concerned for season 3 though.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of like Kingpin being the villain for 5 seasons now.
I'm 100% tired of that. Like,
Right.
I think he had his ending. Like, leave him there.
Mm.
Like, or don't bring him back for a minute. Like, just let it. But like, he's such a marketable thing for them.
And Vincent D'Onofrio is
that
really
I
good
guess-
as well. So
Yeah, I know. It's just, yeah, it's hard to say I don't want it, but it's just. I also have no interest personally in Elektra being back. She was always my least favorite.
I mean, the season that she was introduced kind of sucked.
Oh yeah.
It was juggling way
Yeah.
too many things, which is why I'm very surprised
Yeah,
that Brandy did like the Hand is back. Like the Hand from Daredevil season 2. What are you doing here? I was like, What?
Yeah, or are we just like yeah, it's like a total like it feels like to me like the hand is only in Brand New Day as an excuse to make a really cool ninja Spider-Man fight scene. Like
Uh,
I find it hard to believe that they're gonna have anything more to do than that. But I
right.
just can't imagine a circumstance where the hand is even like why are they even there?
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated by that. Like
Yeah, it's like
yeah, I don't
like
know.
how deep in the barrel did you have to go for that?
Yeah, exactly. Like I that's like the and like one of the main posters is him fighting the hand. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I ever would have thought that that would happen. Or like if it would happen, I always thought Daredevil would be a part of it. But I don't
Right.
think Daredevil is in this
Yeah.
at all.
Another closing thing that I do want to mention is the fact that like I always thought that a fourth Spider-Man was inevitable because Disney and Sony had a very rocky relationship during the creation of after Far From Home came out, right? Like there was a big divorce happening, and then Tom was the one like trying to get them together.
Yeah.
And also now that No Way Home is one of the biggest, most successful films, actually it was the only good film during Phase 4, I think. Right, we had Black Widow, Wakanda, and
You don't like Shang-Chi?
oh yeah, Shang-Chi was good. Shang-Chi was good. But it doesn't really have the longevity that a lot of other films.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Not a lot of people talk about it. They talk about it now because of Destin, but like
Yeah, exactly. The third act of that movie kind of falls apart.
yeah. And also, Simu Liu has been driving his reputation into a wall ever since then. So
I don't know anything about that.
okay.
Maybe I should keep it that way.
No, the TLDR is just every single time someone complains about the fact that Shang-Chi hasn't gotten a sequel and that Marvel has forgotten about Shang-Chi, Simu is there front and center being like, hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting to me that he's like so outwardly bitter about it. And I'm
Right.
like, I get it, but it's like it's a little odd. Like, I don't know.
No, that is it.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot where it's like he'll respond to tweets and he'll be like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, you tell me why haven't they brought me back? It's like, come on, buddy. Like, and he probably will get a sequel.
But yeah, with Brand New Day, like I always thought that like there wouldn't the only reason that there would ever be a fourth Spider-Man movie is until Marvel and or Sony backs a truckload of money into Tom's driveway.
Right.
Because
yeah,
as harsh as it is to say, every single time an actor says that like, oh, I'll only do it if like I have if there's a good story, that's a lie. That's complete PR BS. Everyone has a price.
Yeah, I mean, even when he was saying, and he's even admitted this, like during the No Way Home junket, he was always saying, "Oh, this might be my last one,"
Right.
and all this sort of stuff. He's even admitted after the fact. He's like, "Oh, I was just trying to get them to pay
me
more."
more. Right.
Like he didn't say that. He didn't even. I mean, he said something very similar, but he was like, "I was just trying to scare Sony." But I might not do it or whatever because he is the money maker. Like right now, it doesn't even matter that like Thunderbolts did pretty terrible. Like box office wise, Fantastic Four did not do well. You get Spider-Man, and like, you know, I don't remember the exact stats, but I mean, it's definitely the most pre-sale tickets since No Way Home.
Yeah,
of
$1 billion off rip.
Yeah, easy. And it's not even like a big crossover Toby Andrew, whatever. It's just Spider-Man. And I think it kind of helps that it's been 5 years.
Right.
And, you know, it's the whole argument of like, is it superhero fatigue that people have, or is it, you know,
good movies?
Yeah, because Supergirl will have me thinking, I never want to watch another one of these movies again.
Yeah,
I forget. Did you
Supergirl was,
watch
I don't know what
Supergirl?
happened. But
Yeah, it's bad.
but
I think it's worse than people say, to be honest.
that's fair. It's okay, but like I think I also like am very worried of being let down. I know it's gonna sound very like cliche of me to quote MJ here, but like no, because like the last time I expected something to be really
Like
good,
disappointment.
expect disappointment. Yeah, like because the last time I expected something to be really good, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh man,
I got humbled hard after that movie. So I'm very skeptical about every single time someone like says that, oh, the MCU is back and like the MCU is like the best it's ever been and so on and so forth. Because again, Taika, good director. What the hell happened with Thor: Love and Thunder? No one knows about that. He just took the money and ran.
I just personally think that like outside of like maybe a 3-year stretch, like 2016, 2017, 2018, like to me, the MCU has always been hit or miss.
Right.
And maybe that's a hot take, but like even Phase One as an example. I like Iron Man. I like the first Avenger or
Thor.
Captain America, and I like the Avengers. I don't
Thor
like Thor.
sucked.
I actually, yeah. I don't like Thor. I don't like Incredible Hulk. I don't like Iron Man 2. And then we can move to Phase 2, and it's like I obviously don't like Thor: The Dark War. I obviously don't like what's something bad in Phase 2. Age of Ultron's pretty bad.
Age of Ultron, okay.
I mean, it's not bad, but it's like fine.
Okay.
And like even in Phase 3, it's like we had our Captain Marvel and our Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like I think those are terrible movies. I think so. To me, it's never been like, oh, the MCU's back or the MCU's not or whatever, because like it's such a case by case basis. Like Brand New Day could be, and I pretty strongly believe will be one of the best Spider-Man movies.
Right.
Like I just feel it. It's gonna happen. And yeah, Doomsday could still suck. Like I don't think it means that like. I don't think it means anything. Like in the same way that like most people generally love Deadpool and Wolverine. I would say it was mostly pretty well received. But then the next movie after that's Captain America. It's like most people hated that.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, then we go to Thunderbolts and most people I think most people like that movie, but it didn't do well enough to, you know, move the needle or anything.
I think it was around this time that Superman came out, right? Oh no! It was Fantastic Four. It was completely Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four was yes. Do you like Superman or you like Fantastic Four more? I'm just curious.
That's a hard. That's like choosing between your favorite kid, man. Come on.
Oh,
Superman
really?
Superman is a better film.
They're pretty equal for me. I think Thunderbolts is better than both of them.
I mean, duh, but you asked me between Superman and Fantastic Four, so like.
Wait, so you agree? You agree?
Thunderbolts is the best. Yeah, Thunderbolts is the best movie they've gotten.
Because most people would fight you on that. They would say Superman is.
They're wrong. Fuck them, dog. But like, I don't know.
There are like some glaring issues with Superman. I won't.
No,
that, but
I mean, it does not hold up on rewatches. Like, there's a lot of flaws with Superman that I can also say that are flaws with James Gunn's writing as a whole.
Yes. There's a lot of like James Gunn isms in there that I'm like, I think it's been hard for me to not grow tired of his. Like, I never watched Peacemaker season 2 because I'm like, I can't do this. But I don't know if I was missing out or anything.
Peacemaker's good. Peacemaker season 2 is actually good. But yes, you will get fatigued of James Gunnisms after season 2.
Yeah. And I never watched Creature Commandos either.
Okay.
Anything else? I'm not really into
Okay. And I also do hope that like this will be enough for Marvel to maybe let their more auteur directors shine. Because I remember how poorly they treated Sam, the guy who made the Black Phone, Doctor Strange 1.
Scott Derrickson.
Scott Derrickson. Yeah. Hell, like they brought Sam Raimi as a replacement, but they also didn't let him be himself with the direction. Like, look at this and look bizarre, at Send-Help.
Like some of it, yeah, it's so bizarre because like there's like sequences where it's like, oh, Sam Raimi clearly did this, and then there's so many sequences that are just like, okay, it's
classic
just a Marvel,
right.
Whatever. Yeah. Send-Help is such Raimi like that. Yeah, I really think that is a big thing that they need to like lock in on. Like, I think that's one of the reasons Thunderbolts. The reason I'm excited for the X-Men reboot is because Jake Schreier, who did Thunderbolts, is doing X-Men. And I'm like, that makes sense to me. I think when they find these directors that they really like, they tend to stick with them. Like Ryan Coogler's obviously doing Black Panther 3. I think Destin Daniel Cretton's probably going to do every Spider-Man movie going forward. Like, I'd be shocked if not. That seems to be the way it's shaping up.
On the idea that like Destin's going to do every Spider-Man movie, he has Wonder Man season 2 to do as well.
Yeah, I don't know how he would do everything. Yeah. Because like, if he is doing Spider-Man, there's no way he's doing a Shang-Chi 2.
Yeah,
if he's doing other Spider-Man movies. Like,
yeah, so he's gonna be the go-to guy for Marvel. I worry he's gonna stretch himself too.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. And yeah, the Russo brothers are back for some reason.
Yay!
Money.
For us.
I'm usually pretty optimistic about everything, and like when the Russo brothers were officially announced and RDJ was announced for Doomsday or whatever, I was like, I'm gonna reserve my judgment and all this sort of stuff. And then as it's gotten closer, I'm like, it's getting a lot harder to reserve my judgment.
Right.
Like, it's really impossible to not view all of the moves as desperation.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting because it's like, I personally would be much more compelled by a Doomsday movie if you got like a really great actor Like people have often said like Cillian Murphy or something like
yeah.
that. He would never agree to something like that. But I just mean, I don't think he would. Everybody's got a price. He would do it. But get someone like that, like high tier, whatever. Cut the gimmicky stuff like this. Don't have Steve Rogers come back. Don't have any
Right.
stuff like that. And I really think it would be easier to convince people of this. But like you've really shown your hand of like how desperate you are of just like we have to run back to the basics. We need RDJ. We need the Russo brothers. We need Chris Evans because everything else has been a mess. Like I just think that's the wrong thing to learn from what's happened.
Yeah. Like the way that like
And it's gonna make money. Like
obviously
it's
but,
gonna
like,
make money. It's gonna make boatloads of money. So like I but I think it would have anyways.
Right. I think I was having this discussion with like a bunch of other of my friends, like when we were watching Doomsday, the Doomsday trailer. This just feels like every shot and frame that they choose to show in the trailer for the marketing as a whole, it's just to have you as the audience point and be like, oh, I know this thing from that thing. It's just the ultimate key jingling.
Which is so not what a trailer should be. Like imagine if Brand New Day, the trailer was a couple shots of like Spider-Man just standing there, and then a shot of like Scorpion looking cool. And then like you get the Hulk or something, or like that. Imagine that was it. But no, the trailer opened with like this, it told this like the entire emotional arc of the movie of like the separation with Ned and MJ, and like again just sort of the general plot of it and that sort of thing, and that was enough to like sell everybody on the story.
Right.
Whereas like Doomsday, it's just like, oh my gosh, he stopped Thor's thing with 2 fingers. It's like big whoop. I don't even know anything about this guy. Like that is not something we should be seeing in a trailer. I don't think.
Right.
Like yeah, it's
like,
pretty
that,
messy.
That is another point that I want to mention regarding like the marketing. At some point, I need the Brand New Day marketing to stop. They keep showing their hand a little bit too much.
I have seen every TV spot. I tried to stop. I tried, but I'm like, I've seen. It feels like so much. Like I've seen so many different like action pieces and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sure there's plenty of stuff.
Right.
I know there's so much stuff that I haven't seen, but like, yeah, I can't believe it how much they're putting out. Feels like way more than normal.
Yeah, no, because No Way Home
Maybe
had a
I'm wrong.
secret to hide.
Yeah. So they couldn't show it, like most of the.
Right.
I mean, they would like digitally remove Toby and Andrew of certain things, but
Terribly,
like,
but,
for the most. Yeah. Yeah. I still can't believe that.
the lizard just gets punched by nothing.
Yeah, I'm like, how did you let that slide? But anyways, part of me thinks it was on purpose because it was just to keep the
generate
buzz
hype.
going.
Right.
Yeah. No, like even the No Way Home stuff, like they didn't show any of the apartment fight or like any stuff like that. Like they didn't, and yeah, I feel like we've seen every like major set piece of Brand New Day. I'm sure I'm wrong because we've barely seen. I mean, we really haven't even seen Sadie sink a second of this. And I do think she's going to be a big character.
Yeah. Also, small tangent. I am so happy that Sadie at least like she got her foot out the Stranger Things hellhole.
Oh yeah, because she's great. Like she's like I think she. I remember when she was first introduced in season 2 of Stranger Things. It was like okay, like that's cool, whatever. But like especially season 4, and even
parts of 5.
Mostly season 4. Yeah, parts of 5. When she's out of her coma.
Right.
Like, I think she's just great. I don't know if you've ever seen The Whale. She's great in that. If she is Jean Grey, which she is, like, I feel very okay with the fact that for the next 10 years, she's kind of stuck doing that.
Yeah. I just wish most of the other characters would, like, most of the other actors from Stranger Things would also get, like, taken up. But hey, Sean Levy seems to have some pull at Disney now. Maybe he could do something.
Clearly, like he could just somehow he's doing Ghost Rider.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but okay.
That is such an interesting choice.
Yeah, but then again, Stranger Things director, guy can direct horror, whatever. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah. That's a good point. I need to stop forgetting that.
Yeah, but then again, he's also one of those like sauceless filmmakers right now.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those like he can work well within the Marvel machine. Like just give exactly what
they asked for.
You would think you want. I think there's some cool stuff in Deadpool and Wolverine, like even just like action choreography wise and stuff. But like I don't know. My main issue with that movie comes down to the writing more than anything.
But no, like back to Doomsday. It's just like I don't know, man. Like how do you expect me to be excited when half the characters are just like I haven't seen them in anything for the last 5 years.
And not even just that, like the other half of the cast is freaking X-Men from the 2000s.
Yeah,
Like,
the last movie was 14 years ago. Do you expect me like, and also X-Men 97 streaming on Disney Plus. Ding. It's
I haven't seen it. Is that
yeah,
crazy?
no, X-Men 97 is just like, it's a different continuity entirely. So unless you're telling me
Yeah.
those guys are the same as these guys, why should I care? Also, Channing Tatum Gambit
Right,
is here.
right.
He's a joke character. What
He's
is he
not
doing?
even. Yeah, I have heard Channing Tatum say that like this is a serious version of Gambit, or more
I
serious, I
I
guess, than
don't
Deadpool
believe it
Wolverine.
because the accent will automatically make you laugh.
I don't know. I don't know. And like, I think it's generally a cool idea that like, okay, cool, we get James Marsden to finally be in a Cyclops suit, and like, hopefully he doesn't get completely screwed over like all of the other X-Men movies.
Right.
Like, I generally get that they're trying to do sort of the Andrew Garfield thing of like rewriting the mistakes of that sort of thing. But I just don't think this is the movie to do that. Like,
Yeah.
there's too much at stake and too much going on separately that I'm like, are we just gonna have Cyclops standing there aura farming, or are we going to like, is there some meat on the bones? And the only reason why I have every reason to doubt that right now is because they've given me no reason otherwise.
Correct.
You know
I
what I'm
wish we
saying?
needed. I
Like,
wish we had one more X-Men, like just one X-Men movie. I want to see what the MCU can do with the X-Men.
yeah, yeah. And I think like, I don't know, I just feel so weird about like Mystique's here and like freaking Magneto, and I'm sure Charles Xavier will die for the 50th time. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I guess they have to for this whole multiverse concept. Like, I think maybe they just felt
No,
like
but
we
like the
need
fact that
another world for it to merge into or whatever.
right.
But
No, but the fact that even you are like, I guess for the plot to happen, right?
yeah, yeah. And again, I will gladly be proven wrong. I would love for them to put out a second trailer that I find all I really want is something like emotionally compelling.
Right.
I don't need give me like everybody aura farming. Like that's
Right.
literally what the trailer is. It's just like different shots of like of that. Or like, oh, this person's fighting this person. Can you believe it? It's like, I guess. I mean, like I don't like I don't know.
Yeah.
So
No,
if they can give me another
it's the
reason,
epitome of like action figures being smashed together. Guys, isn't this entertaining?
yeah, that's what everybody's saying. And it's like that's 100% what it is. And it's like I'm very shocked that that's the angle they're taking. Because
Yeah.
like clearly that sells tickets, but like I think it's been a pretty controversial trailer, all things considered. At least
Yeah.
most people that I'm talking to are not really won over.
Mm,
It just sort of feels like the chair video
right.
as a trailer. Like it's nothing more than that. Look, this person's here. This person's here. Okay, I don't care. Like,
Also, the
and why is
costumes
like
look atrocious.
it's not interesting enough to be like, oh, Thor, he got his thing stopped with two fingers, or whatever. This is the biggest thing they've ever faced. Like, that's not enough. Like, that's not interesting, really.
Yeah.
On its own, I mean. I know people have theories about what, like, why Steve Rogers is involved in all that sort of stuff. And honestly, every theory I've heard, I don't like. The whole idea that, like, him going back to be with Peggy was, like, the inciting incident for this. It's like, I don't even know how that makes
So
any
you want to
sense,
make
to be
so you want to
honest.
make
But
like ultimately the nicest moment of Endgame be the inciting incident for this.
and just throw, yeah, like, that's mostly what I've heard. Like, and the Russo brothers are like, we wanted to take what happened at Endgame and then blow it all up. They've said that. That's their idea. Yeah, like, that sounds terrible. Why would you
Yeah.
do that? Like, you just want to make a mess of things? I don't know why. Like, the
Discredit
whole
anything the
point of
Russo
Steve,
brothers say at this point.
the whole point of Steve's arc is that he can finally live his life that he missed out on.
Yeah.
That like he spent his life as a just being a soldier and following orders and all this sort of stuff, and he's finally making this decision for himself. And then now it's like, oh, but this Doctor Doom guy, he looks like Tony Stark, and we like I can't fathom that. If they can make it work, I will be shocked, and I will be proven wrong, and I will be like, I stand corrected. I'll take everything back. But I don't see a scenario where this movie is anything better than like a 6 or
Yeah.
7 out of 10.
Right. It sucks, but like I honestly hope that the success of Brave New World, Brand New Day, shit,
It's hard. It's hard. I always mess it up. It's
Brand New
brave new
Day.
Yeah.
Brand New Day. The success of the Spider-Man movie
Yeah.
will, in some ways, like shape Marvel to like maybe care more about the character stories instead of just set piece.
Yeah. And I thought that's what the trajectory we were already on. Because like my favorite parts of, again, Thunderbolts, that's the whole reason that movie works. Fantastic Four, my favorite parts of that movie are like the dialogue scenes between
Right.
Reed and Sue, where like that whole scene about how he's like, it's my job to worry about everything.
Right.
And she says something like, well, it hurts me the way you are, and stuff like that.
Right.
Like that is easily the most compelling stuff in the movie. Not, I don't know,
Galactus.
the final battle with Galactus or whatever. Like none of that. It's whatever. And so I was like, okay, they're learning, they're like correcting the mistakes and all this sort of stuff. And then this just spits in the face of all that. That's what Doomsday is to me. It's just like,
yeah. And also,
because I think they learned too much from the success of Deadpool and Wolverine.
no.
They took, and I think that's what happened. I think they're like, oh, people love that stuff. They love Blade coming out and doing this. It's like, why that? Like, I think that's where this is coming from. I would be shocked if, like, I would guess that most of Doomsday was written right at the time that Deadpool Wolverine was like doing its thing.
I'm scared.
I think that lines up like timeline wise.
Dude, I'm scared.
I think I'm gonna feel like, yeah, I know. I'm really not making a good case for it. Like,
no, because there is no
I
case
really-
to be made here.
I know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also, you might be right with the whole like they care about spectacle more than character, or just having the audience clap at everything. But also, Marvel's like the way that the MCU has been treating like the like filmmaking and like what it means to like make movies these days has kind of changed. The biggest example I can say is Stranger Things. It used to be a simple, intimate story, but it tried to chase what Marvel was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is big spectacle, big fight scene, big CGI.
It's
monster.
it's the end game of Stranger Things. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But in doing so, no one
Yeah.
talks about it anymore.
Yeah.
Like you can
Yeah.
hear people talking about something like, say, The Good Place, or Severance, or Breaking Bad. No one talks about Stranger Things,
Yeah.
which sucks.
Well,
And
and even
I-
you think about like season 4 of Stranger Things, and like the reason that worked is because it felt like there were personal stakes
yeah.
again, and like it was relatively. I don't want to say it was like self-contained because it really wasn't, because it's still like world-ending stuff. But I just mean I think it was probably the closest to the feel of the first season. I don't know. It just seems like everything's moved in the direction of like it's this cinematic like event, get them to clap at the screen and all that sort of stuff, which is so funny because like No Way Home is that to a T.
uh-huh.
But I think the reason why No Way Home works is everything outside of that, like, or everything in addition to that. Same exact thing. If I saw a No Way Home trailer and they just showed me different shots, like Andrew doing a cool thing, Toby
Right.
doing a cool thing, I'd be like, what is this movie? Like, what? Why are they here? Like, I would have the same exact questions because there's no compelling reason in. Like, Andrew has said in interviews, he was really worried in his first meeting with them that him and Toby were going to come in, say hi, leave the movie. Like, that's sort of what would be. I mean, that's essentially what, like, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right.
I mean, they tried to make them characters, kind of. Yeah, not really. So because it wasn't that, it worked. And
Right.
I just think that Deadpool and Wolverine doesn't happen without No Way Home. But Deadpool and Wolverine, I think, is not understanding why No Way Home worked at a like fundamental level. And then now I think Doomsday is going to repeat the same mistake. So we'll see.
Yeah. On
At
that.
least we have Brand New Day.
Yeah. At least we have Brand New Day. I don't know. If Brand New Day is the only Marvel movie I see this year, I'll be fine.
I honestly would be perfectly content if they're like, hey, we're scrapping Doomsday.
Yeah. Nah.
But literally, I'd just be like, just don't make any more Avengers. Like, let's just move on to the X-Men stuff.
Right.
The only reason I'm like okay with getting through Doomsday is because I just want. And this is a jingly key thing, but I just want in Secret Wars the 3 Spider-Man to be together. So like that selfishly I want to see, but even that I'm just like you could leave it at No Way Home, I'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, once again, we talked for way too long.
Most of it not probably having to do with Tom Holland's trilogy, but
Yeah.
you know.
No, but it's okay. It was fun. Again, it's always fun to do this with you, man.
Yeah. No, I need to talk about this somehow. And if
No,
there's
for
just
sure.
I had too much to say.
But yeah,
And there's just so much happening right now in this
true.
that not to go over.
Also, like as we're recording, literally like the day of Comic-Con just ended. So
Right, exactly.
yeah, so
Um,
I don't know, man. Like nothing is interesting, but like whatever. Let's see how it goes.
besides Brand New Day.
Besides, yes. But yeah, okay. Do your promotion thing.
Go check out my band, Oh Geeez Not Again. We got a new song coming out soon. That's all I'm allowed to say.
Yeah, if it's already out, then I'll probably like just put it somewhere.
yeah. And go watch Brand New Day, everybody. Disney needs my help.
Disney needs my help. Oh yes, the multi-billion-dollar is poor, guys.
Right, exactly.
Thanks for watching, guys.